Welcome back here live from Kart Chaser, round one of the Stars Championship Series night fight here from Trackhouse Motorplex. The first of many feature races are getting ready and set to go here with the KA Masters. Simon, you want to tell us the grid here?
Let's do it. On pole, man of the hour, John Bonanno, number 272 Kart machine. Alongside him, Jacob Neary. Outside of row number one, inside row number two, Billy Workman Jr. alongside Ryan Kasner, Miguel Muir, followed by Paul Montepoli. And row four, Brian Dinelli and Christopher Horan. And as we head down the tram lines, we're looking to get the green this time by, and lights are out. We are racing for our first main event of 2023 Fight Night, part of the Stars Championship Series here at Trackhouse Motorplex. All clean through three turns as we see a bit of shuffling, three wide into turn four for the fourth position.
Yeah, Kasner on the inside of a three wide sandwich there, makes it stick. Move Ryan Kasner up in the P3. Good start for Billy Workman Jr. as well to slot in the P2, but the dream start for John Bonanno. He holds on to P1 and has a decent advantage as they head down to turns 8.
Coming out of the first hairpin, about a 2-kart length advantage over Jacob Neary. Following them, a large group of drivers spanning all the way back to the edge of the top 10 as they work through the last corner of their first lap in the main event.
Yeah, if you guys remember from the pre-final, the guy to watch was Brian Daniele. He didn't make any headway that lap, started 7th, still in 7th, but Brian Daniele was arguably the fastest guy on the racetrack in the pre-final, had to start near the back. He's in P7 right now and looking to make a move there on Jacob Neary, I think, into turn 4. There he goes, Brian Daniele up in the P6.
Down the inside, and he will clear it, like you said, up into P6 for that driver. Brian Dinelli making his way through this field. We'll keep an eye on him as things progress, but up front, the top two closing in as they head through the infield hairpin. John Bonanno still with about a 2-kart length lead over Billy Workman Jr., who made his way up into P2.
Yeah, Billy Workman Jr. up on the wheel, puts his head down through the short chute there from 10 and 11. He's making decent inroads here on John Bonanno on this opening lap. Here comes Billy Workman Jr. Last time by, matched the pace of John Bonanno. Fast guy on the racetrack, the man himself, Brian Daniele at P6 with a 52.3. Looking to make a move. Going on the back straight on Paul Montopoli, see if he can do it. He does. Daniele to the inside of Paul Montopoli. He's through to P5. Move the Brian Daniele, the purple lap, up in the P5 now.
That 292 OTK car obviously hooked up and working well in the early stages of this race. 13 minutes plus 2 laps remaining for this final event in KA Masters. Through the infield hairpin, and Billy Workman Jr. actually getting a bit of a run up there on John Bonanno, challenging for that lead. About a kart length separate them as they approach the last corner and head on down to the start-finish line.
Yeah, John Bonanno didn't get the launch he would have wanted out of turn 8, though. Already extending his advantage a little bit through 11, though. Must have been a bit of a mistake there in 8. Might have missed his brake zone just a little bit. But here comes the rest of the crew. Ryan Kasner and Miguel Muir. They were both 2 and 3 tenths quicker than your 2 leaders. Here comes Ryan Kasner. Let's see if he's going to make a move in the 4. Doesn't make it stick. Billy Workman Jr. slides a little bit there in the 4. Looking a little further back. Brian Daniele is making the jump there, leaving Paul Montopoli and catching Miguel Muir at the same time.
So we see the top 4 running in a tight-knit group. And like you said, Brian Dinelli leading that charge on as part of the second group to try and catch these 4 front runners. Still Bonanno out front, followed by Workman Jr., Kasner, and Muir. Your top 4 drivers currently as they head through the double right-hander in the infield of this track, Alex. Yeah,
Ryan Kasner pushing Billy Workman around the double rights there, telling him to get a move on, or I'm going to pass you here in the KA class. Really common. 2 is faster than 1. Not a lot of horsepower in these go-karts, right? You'll see a lot of these times, these experienced guys, they're going to try to push up to catch John Bonanno. Bonanno's been the quickest guy all weekend long, pretty much swept the entire weekend so far in this class. They're going to want to change that here in this feature race.
Fortunately, had 1 tram line penalty after winning heat number 1, but obviously has recovered well. And in the final event of the weekend, he leads the early stages.
Yeah, good run out of turn 6 right for Billy Workman Jr. See if he gets a good enough run here into turn 8. Might make a peak, doesn't do it. Workman Jr. is going to hold station behind John Bonanno. Bonanno, what I've noticed throughout this entire weekend so far is his kart seems to come in mid-race. He has lower tire pressures than most people out there. So it's very common to see guys like Workman and Kasner be up on the bumper of Bonanno. They're going to have to take advantage of this if they want to try to win this race.
And this isn't one of those classes with the softer MG yellow compound tire. They are, in fact, on the MG Reds, a slightly stiffer compound. And with the low horsepower, they aren't going to degrade the tire as much, meaning we'll see the times continue to pick up throughout this race. And whoever has the pace at the end, that will tell you who's going to win the race. Now at the front, John Bonanno through turn 4, still followed by Workman Jr., Kasner, and Mir as the top 4 continue to cycle around.
I'll tell you, it's been really impressive, though. Brian Daniele, once again, I know I keep mentioning them, but matching the leader's pace all by himself. The rest of the guys up front have the benefit of the draft or pushing. Brian Daniele all by himself matching the leader's pace. If they start racing, which they inevitably will, he'll be there and have a chance of the win.
And he has left the 2 drivers behind him. Paul Montepalli and Jacob Neri are no longer within range of Brian Daniele as he continues to make his move up towards the front of this pack. Now closing into draft range as he approaches this front group. We could see it turn to a 5-kart battle for the lead of this KA Masters night fight final here tonight, Alex.
Yeah, like you said, we could see a 5-kart train. It was a second. Now it's 8/10 Brian Daniele to Miguel Mir. He's coming, and there's still 9 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Long race left here. Daniele most likely will get there. Workman Jr. so far, the gap's kind of plateaued there to John Bonanno. Bonanno hasn't made a mistake yet. These guys, like we keep mentioning, Masters guys, experienced guys, you don't see a lot of mistakes out of these guys. So let's see what Billy Workman Jr. can do. Kasner keeping him honest as well. Workman Jr., yeah, just like that, up on the wheel, puts his head down through the short chute, does it every single lap. It's really cool to see as well. But yeah, Workman Jr. trying to close that gap with John Bonanno.
He's certainly pushing, trying to get towards that rear bumper of John Bonanno as they cross the lap that time. All the top 5 drivers all within 700ths of a second on their last lap through, a 51.9 for all of them as we see Workman Jr. draft up to the back bumper of Bonanno through turn 4, Alex.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to go for a move there. That was the first time all race we see Workman Jr. have a real good shot at making a move there. Decided to push Bonanno instead. We'll see if that that costs him later in this race, but Workman Jr. showing that he has the pace, if needed, to get up to the bumper of John Bonanno. Further back, Kasner and Miguel Mir beginning to work together just a little bit. Mir seems to be a little bit faster than Kasner at this point in the race, but he's content with pushing him right now to catch up to the leaders.
Mir currently with your fastest time of the race so far at a 51.818. The driver in the number 277 machine sitting in 4th place. He has arrived at the back bumper of Kasner. Has been sitting there for a few moments now and trying to hold off pressure from a charging Brian Daniele behind.
Yeah, Brian Daniele last time by, quickest of the 5 drivers in this group, but not quickest overall. Jacob Neri takes the purple lap all alone in the 51.8. Unfortunately for him, he's 3 seconds back from this lead. He's going to need a lot of racing to happen for him to have a chance in this one. Workman Jr. exiting 6, gets a great run out of that corner, through 7, down to 8. He might make a move into 8 here. Thinks better of it. He's going to hold station there behind John Bonanno and just, yeah, doesn't make a move there. Oh, a little mistake there from Kasner. Going to allow Mir to make a move, but Kasner going to cross him over there in turn 9. Kasner holds on to P3.
Now this group is officially split in 2. You've got your top 2 drivers. Workman Jr. for the first time in this race actually closing onto that rear bumper of Bonanno, but right behind them the fight raging on with Kasner, Mir, and Brian Daniele showing up on the scene.
Yeah, with Kasner and Mir fighting, like you said, it brings Daniele into play, but what it does is they start losing ground to the leaders ahead of them, right? I mean, Jacob Neri, like I was saying last time by, was 3 seconds away from your lead pack. Now he's 2.6. Here comes Jacob Neri, fastest guy on the racetrack, last few laps around. And there he is in the same frame now. Jacob Neri, he's coming.
With still 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps remaining in this race, plenty of time for these drivers like Brian Daniele and Jacob Neri to make inroads into this top group. Still up front, Bonanno and Workman Jr. followed about a second behind by Kasner, Mir, and Daniele as they cross the start finish.
Yeah, Miguel Mir with a late move there in turn 11. Makes that move stick. Move Miguel Neri up into P3. Kasner falls back to P4. But here comes Jacob Neri. He goes purple again up 51.7. The gap was 2.6. Now it's 2.2 seconds. Here comes Jacob Neri. Late move from Daniele. Doesn't make it stick here. That's going to allow Neri to get even closer to this group.
and he has definitely arrived on the scene. Like you said, fastest lap of the race, last time by, a good 7/10 quicker than the drivers in front of him. So he is quickly reeled in this gap, and we see a pass. There it is. Kasner and Mir and Daniele. Oh, big contact in through the double rights. And Kasner getting the worst of it. He'll cycle back several spots.
Yeah, Daniele threw a late move there on Kasner. Kasner tried to cross him over. Daniele might have misjudged it a little bit. Moved too far to the left, put Kasner up on the curbing there. Got him all out of shape. Good save by Kasner. That allows Daniele to move a spot. And Neri, the beneficiary of all of that, another spot up for Jacob Neri. He's only 2.4 seconds back, even after all that mistake from the leaders.
And while all this happens, this battling in the midfield for the final podium spot, Bonanno Workman Jr. still nose to tail, about a 10th separating the two, running 52.0s last time by. It's beatable, but not by fighting, as we see the lap times of this group of three. It's about a mid-52 last time by, so they're losing about a half second when they fight like this, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Brian Daniele and Jacob Neer are going to start working together to get around Miguel Mir. But like you're saying, Workman Jr. has not left the rear bumper of John Bonanno. And I think it's going to stay that way until at least 2 to go. Workman Jr., really experienced guy, just like John Bonanno. He knows what it takes to win a race here in KA Masters. They're just going to work together for this entirety of this race. They want to make it a two-horse race here.
Oh, they want to, but certainly behind them, that's not the same goal for the others. Daniele pushing on. He's right behind Miguel Mir now. Looks for a move to the inside. Not quite going to get that one done, but an interesting thing, Mir having a lot of pace running behind Kasner for a while. Let's see what he can do out front with some clean air over his front fairing.
Yeah, it seems to be right now that Brian Daniele is probably going to make a move here on Miguel Mir, and he does inside of turn 8. Daniele gives him a little bit of a hip check there to Miguel Mir. That's going to allow Neri to get both of them. Jacob Neri, a 2-for-1 special in turn 8. Jacob Neri now up in the P3. Daniele, a net 0 gain for him. Made a move on Miguel Mir and lost one on Jacob Neri.
Wow, what a move from Neri, working his way up. Remember, he was 6th place not too long ago on the outside looking in. Now in the front of this group in P3, taking advantage of the others' misfortunes. He will solidify himself a spot up there and will start to try and make headway into Bonanno Workman Jr.'s lead, although that's extended out to over 2 seconds now at this point, Alex.
Yeah, it's going to take a heroic drive here from Jacob Neri. 2.2 seconds back, but consistently really the entirety of this race, he's been the quickest guy on the racetrack every single lap. He holds the purple lap right now. Let's see the inroads he makes this lap with clean air, all by himself. Workman Jr. pushing Bonanno. Let's see the gap. It's 2.2 right now. We have Bonanno and Workman Jr. working really well together right now. Workman Jr. has he doesn't want to pass Bonanno at all. He's content with pushing him for the entirety of this race until 1 to go here. They're going to cross the line this time by. Workman Jr. head down, pushing Bonanno. What's the gap between him and Neri? 2/10 faster for Jacob Neri. 2.2 down to 2 seconds. That's not going to be enough. He needs a little bit more to have a chance in this win.
Yeah, still 2 seconds, under 2.5 minutes remaining, plus those 2 extra laps. Give us 5 extra laps here at the end of this race. Looking at the front, Bonanno, like you said, 52.0 to Neri's 51.8 last time by. A 2/10 gain, but still 2 seconds of space. You just have to think that fighting in the middle for that podium position in the middle of this race has to have hurt their chances of making it to these front 2.
Yeah, like you said, fighting is really never going to help your chances in racing, but for Neri's sake, he had to start, near the mid-pack, so he kind of had no choice but to go for those moves. He could have pushed maybe Daniele, but look at the gap he's created over Brian Daniele. He had too much pace. He had to go, right? So let's see the gap this time by. He goes purple, 51.6. It's down to 1.9 seconds now. Only a 10th gained over the 2 leaders, but anything helps right now, especially if they start the race up front.
He's making gains, especially considering Bonanno and Workman Jr. both put in personal bests on that last lap, and what would have been the fastest lap of the race had Neri not crossed the line just behind him and gone even faster. So with still 1.9 seconds and several laps remaining, we'll see what transpires as Workman Jr., if he starts to put pressure on Bonanno here with a couple laps remaining, that could drastically reduce the gap to P3.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, if he starts racing Bonanno, anything's possible here for Jacob Neri. There's 80 seconds and counting here in this race. Cannot wait to see how this one unfolds. Workman Jr. up on the wheel still behind John Bonanno. He went purple for a split second. Then Jacob Neri went a 51.7. Sorry, didn't go purple, but a personal best there for Billy Workman Jr. Neary, another 10th taken out of this lead. Billy Workman Jr. pushing John Bonanno around turn 4. John Bonanno knows he's there. Workman Jr. is just waiting for a mistake out of that concourt. Hasn't seen it yet.
They're just trying to work together, push away from Neary. They know that he's fast, he's closing in, but as long as they stay hooked up together, like Xander always says, 2 karts is better than 1.
Yes, for sure. John Bonanno, good exit here. Bonanno seems to be really quick in this middle part of the racetrack. Any part of the track where it's tighter corners, relies a lot of bottom end speed, that's where Bonanno seems to be quicker. But Workman Jr. has the lower gear, really quick around the fast parts of the racetrack, keeps your RPMs up. That's why it's worked really well for him to be a good pusher.
And we're now into 3 laps to go as we cross the line. That time by Jacob Neary, setting the overall best lap of the race so far with a 51.60. That's a good 0.3 faster than the leaders, bringing it down to only a 1.5 seconds of gap. But with 3 laps remaining, is it going to be enough to challenge for the win?
It really just depends on what Billy Workman Jr. does. He controls his fate in this race right now. There's not a lot John Bonanno can do besides defend at this point in this race. Workman Jr. doesn't even think about a move. He knows he got the pace. He's just going to wait until the last lap at this point in this race. But Jacob Neary, 0.3 faster last time by. Like you said, may not be enough with 3 to go, but let's see what Billy Workman Jr. decides to do here with 2 laps to go crossing the line.
You can start to see him enter the frame there in the background. He's certainly gaining on the leaders. The leaders doing their best to work together. We'll see the sticks in the air. 2 to go this time by for the first final of Night Fight here at Trackhouse Motorplex, part of the Stars Championship Series presented by Extreme Sim Racing USA. And for the first time, Workman looks to the inside and he'll take the lead. Crossed immediately over, back by John Bonanno, and the fighting begins, Alex.
The fighting begins maybe a little bit too early, especially if Jacob Neary is able to walk away with this one. Jacob Neary is rubbing his hands right now saying, yes, please keep racing, please keep racing. I'm faster than both of you guys. I have a lap and a half to make this happen.
He's certainly making the gap closer and closer. It was only about 1.2 seconds last time by, but with the fighting, you have to think that's going to drastically close the gap this time by.
He's in the same shot as these 2 guys. Workman Jr. made the mistake in 4, went a little bit too deep on the brakes. He knows he's quicker though. He knows he can make the move in 4. He can get the run out of 3. Drives it in really deep in a 1. Through 2 now, up to 3. He has a run on John Bonanno. Is he going to do the same move as last lap?
1 lap remaining in our first main event of the night. Bonanno low to defend, Workman high, trying to get the crossover, still on his bumper. Neary looming in the background as we head to the midsection of this track. Coming through, we'll be heading towards the hairpin, our best passing opportunity on this Trackhouse Motorplex track. Bonanno low to defend, Workman high, looking for the crossover. Will cross him over on the exit. They'll go side by side into the double right-hander, Alex.
Side by side, crossover move here incoming from Billy Workman Jr. There's contact, and here comes Jacob Neary. A 2-for-1 exiting turn 9. Jacob Neary, how has he done this? Out of nowhere, he's going to go from 3rd to 1st in 1 corner, and he wins KA Masters.
Oh my gosh, Alex, what have we just witnessed? Neary clutching up that pace he put in the last couple of laps. The incident between Workman and Kasner. What just happened?
I don't know. Billy Workman Jr. set it up perfectly, right? Bonanno blocked into 8. Jr. crossed him over, set it up for the double rights, crossed him over again. Seemed to me that maybe Bonanno turned down a little bit too soon, maybe didn't expect how much of a run Workman got, and you can see how much this means to Jacob Neary. He's got the number 1 in the air. He knows he put together the drive of his life to win this race.
Jacob Neary, your 2023 Fight Night KA Masters final winner. Rounding out your top 5, Billy Workman Jr. comes home P2 after fighting for the lead the whole race. Brian Daniele with a great run back to finish 3rd in that 292 machine. Miguel Muir, P4, and John Bonanno, after leading almost every lap of this race, will come home P5. A disappointing end to his weekend after such strong pace throughout this race. Ryan Kasner, P6, Paul Montepalli, P7, Christopher Horan, P8, Anthony Stifler, P9, and Peter Cook will round out your top 10 in KA Masters. Chris Stevens, P11, Tom Gerstner, P12, Greg Lee, P13, Bob Davis, P14, Kevin Similik, P15, and Gordon Cameron will round out your field of KA Masters. What an exciting way to start our main events here, Alex.
Unbelievable stuff here. I mean, before we go to break, Yeah, congratulations, Jacob Neary. You earned that one. I mean, what a drive you put on, just purple lap after purple lap. Took advantage of the mistake there from Bonanno, and Workman Jr. got the win. Coming up next, Micro Swift Feature Racing. They have a lot to live up for here after that one.
And don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll come right back at you with more action.
Welcome back here live from Trackhouse Motorplex, round one of the Stars Championship Series night fight. We're getting ready and set to go Micro Swift Feature Racing. What do you think, Simon?
We're into the main events here. Alex, it's exciting. It's time, and we're almost about to turn on the lights as the sun continues to fade. These Micro Swift karts heading out on track. Leading them, Parker Ives, number 48. All eyes on him. He's been so strong all weekend. Start of the year in Micro Swift 2023 so far. On his outside, Holden Myers will line up P2 in the number 36 machine. Inside, row number 2, Cade Wolf with one of the heat wins earlier this weekend. Colton Schniegenberg on his outside of row 2. Luke Gillio, P5. Jake Manilio, P6. Danny O'Gara, P7. Anthony Mazzucchello, P7. Or P8, actually. P9, Bryson Scales. P10, Christopher Lavoie. In 11th, Parker Stewart. Sterling Mulata in 12th. Riley Doublier, 13th. Austin Taylor, 14th. Daniel Ramirez, 15th. Callahan Myers, 16th. Griffin Vukic, 17th. Caleb Smith, 18th. George Zeminski, 19th. Drake Williamson, 20th. And rounding out your field, Liet Simonet in 21st position, Alex.
Yeah, the name of the game here is just not letting Parker Ives get away, right? He's been star of the field so far all weekend long. Not to take any credit away from what we've seen from Cade Wolf, Holden Myers, Colton Schniegenberg, and a bunch of other drivers. They put on some great performances for us as well, but Parker Ives so far has consistently had a few more tenths in the field than everybody else.
A lot of talent in this field, but they're going to have to find a way to beat that man leading this grid to the green. As they come around the final corner, they will enter the tram lanes, and we will look to the lights to set our field green for this feature event in Micro Swift. Looking for the green, and we've got it. Going racing for Micro Swift into turn one. Parker Ives not with the jump. He'll shuffle back to third. Side by side as we head up the hill. Contact in turn two. 3 karts around. It'll be the
Luke
a
Gilio.
tough break. Luke Gilio, no, one of our
Cade Wolf as well.
front runners. A big impact early in this race as we lose several drivers who potentially were going to contend for the win here early, Alex.
Yeah, I couldn't get a glimpse of what the cart in the middle was there, but I believe it was Cade Wolf and Luke Gilio are out of this race. They started 4th and 6th, respectively, there, and they are now out. But we have a different leader than we've seen all weekend long. Holden Myers to the point. Colton Schniegerberg now in P2, and Parker Ives, P3. Unknown territory for him so far.
A strong start from the number 36 comp kart machine of Holden Myers as he leads the field around as they come to the start finish to complete their first timed lap, and he will lead this field. Strong field. Colton Schniegerberg, P2. Parker Ives shuffle back to P3 on that opening lap, your pole sitter. And behind them, a large gap to our next group of Christopher Lavoie, Anthony Mazzucolo, Parker Stewart, and Bryson Scales.
We're curious to see what these drivers do as we see a move there from the 22 of Parker Stewart there, making it stick maybe on the 12 of Bryson Scales. They're side by side through turn 6 there. Let's see if we can see what happened there. But back up front, get a glimpse of Holden Myers, Schniegerberg, and Parker Ives. Let's see what these three drivers decide to do, right? If they race, they'll fall into the clutches of Christopher Lavoie and Anthony. If they don't, they should be able to pull away pretty easily. But Parker Ives, pretty unknown for him to be back there in P3. He probably won't like it too much. He'll want to be the leader soon.
Yeah, I want to compare it a little bit to what we said about Lucas Palacio in the Mini Swift class. That's a guy that likes to lead every single lap of every race. Parker Ives obviously likes to be at the front. He seems a little bit more comfortable to push his way past the rest of the field and then start fighting. So I wouldn't be surprised if he likes to sit in third and just make sure this group gets away from the rest of the field here, Alex.
Yeah, let's see what he does. So far, they're just following station behind each other. Parker Ives bumping Colton Schniegerberg all the way around the racetrack. You saw his head move back in the middle of turn 4 there. That's how much he's pushing him on this racetrack. Parker Ives at this point in time seems to be quicker than both these guys, but is content being P3.
Yeah, Colton Schniegerberg's going to have to find a little bit of pace if he wants to keep Parker Ives behind him. Top 3 still in line as I head through the hairpin. Healthy margin on the rest of the field, out now to 3 seconds to P4, Alex.
Holden Myers with a little bit of breathing room there, exiting the double rights there, but they're going to suck right back up to him there, just with how powerful the draft is. Schniegerberg, little bumper on Holden Myers, hindered his progress. Now Parker Ives side by side with Schniegerberg, not going to get a good enough run exit in the final corner. Slots back into P3, but they were getting a little bit aggressive here early on in this race.
Got the rumblings of a fight brewing, but nothing happening just yet. Static in the air, but no lightning as the drivers have yet to take off and start fighting. Still sitting in line through turn 4. Parker Ives a little wide that time through, but all is well for the driver of the number 48.
Yeah, I think it's the first mistake we've seen from Parker Ives all weekend long. He's been picture perfect almost throughout the entire weekend, but shows he is human. Sitting P3 comfortably behind these two guys. They're about a second a lap faster than the group behind them, so there's really no pressure behind them. Even if they were to race, there's not a lot of pressure behind them, but we'll see. I mean, anything can happen here in micro racing.
So far, a 3-kart battle for the win in the feature Micro Swift Final of Fight Night 2023, part of the Stars Championship Series presented by Extreme Sim Racing USA. Top 3 still in line. Parker Ives sitting there in third comfortably, right behind Colton Schniegerberg and Holden Myers, who leads this field around with 11 minutes plus 2 laps remaining in this race.
What do you think, Simon? I mean, how long does Schniegerberg wait to make a move on Holden Myers? Because right now he knows the guy who's been pretty dominant all weekend long, Parker Ives, right behind him. He doesn't want to be behind him for much at any point throughout this race. Does Schniegerberg wait, or does he go to make a move here on Holden Myers? He seems to be faster. He's pushing him around the racetrack, pushing him through the braking zone even there. Schniegerberg seems to be quicker at this point in the race.
I think the drivers at front have probably started to realize now they have no pressure behind, almost a 6-second gap out to P4 currently. So a 3-kart fight for the win here. Staying in line so far, but we're just waiting for the action to break out here shortly.
Yeah, for sure. These 3 guys, nose to tail. Schniegerberg back-to-back laps goes purple, the benefit of the draft. Parker Ives, second fastest on the racetrack, but it doesn't really matter too much. They're all within half a tenth or a tenth here. Oh, a little bit wide there from Parker Ives. Trying to get a run, couldn't do it. Schniegerberg might have peeked the nose there for half a millisecond. Thought better of it. Holden Myers holds on.
Really competitive racing from these 3 talented drivers at the front, now extending that advantage to 7 seconds to their nearest competitors. They are on fire, setting lap after lap at an extremely high pace. Colton Schiegenberg currently with the fastest lap of the race, sitting there in P2, followed closely behind by Parker Ives.
Gotta say, really mature stuff here from Holden Myers to hold off Schniegenberg and Parker Ives so far in this race. Still have a long way to go. 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes plus 2 laps remaining. But Holden Myers so far driving like a seasoned veteran out here at Micro Swift.
So they cross the line, 9.5 minutes remaining. 55-2 that last time by for all three drivers at the front of your field. And we're seeing action. Parker Ives to the inside. He'll take over that second spot from Colton Schniegenberg as he looks to chase down Holden Myers out front.
Wow, a pretty unorthodox pass there. You don't normally see a pass into turn 3 on raw pace, but he got such a good run out of 1 and 2. He kind of forced his hand there to make a move into 3, and he's already on the bumper now of Holden Myers, showing his true pace now.
Just look at the raw pace of Parker Ives here. It did not take him long to both clear Colton Schniegenberg and arrive on the rear bumper of Holden Myers as they come through the infield hairpin and head towards this double right-hander for the last section of the track. Holden Myers still up front. Parker Ives on his rear bumper. Looking for a move. He'll throw the nose but won't commit into the inside of the last corner. It'll still be Holden Myers across the line, Alex.
Yeah, Parker Ives knows right now at this point in the race as he makes a move to the inside to turn 1 to P1 goes Parker Ives. Well, a little bit dangerous here on the curbing, but he holds on with Parker Ives to the lead. I was going to say Parker Ives driving a pretty smart race there, just buying his time behind Holden Myers, but he doesn't want to be P2 any longer. He enjoys the clean air out front as he's shown all weekend.
And you can see how tactical and thought out his driving is as we are watching on screen. Throwing a fake move to the inside, waiting a corner later, then making the real move, taking his spot at the front smoothly from P3 to the lead. He and Holden Myers hooked up nose to tail. Currently Colton Schniegenberg trailing just behind the two of them.
See, this is the point in the race where I feel as though if I was Holden Myers, I need to get back around Parker Ives. Parker Ives at this point in the race, right, you've seen him push you around the racetrack a little bit throughout the entire weekend. Once he gets that lead, it's hard to catch up to Parker. If he gets a chance to make a move here, I think you got to take it.
Parker Ives just having some unmatched pace by his competitors. 54.9 that last time by. That will put him 3/10 to the good of the fastest lap of the race. Problems for the number 11 Kart of Caleb Smith. Issues for that driver as we look back towards the front of the field. Parker Ives starting to stretch a gap out to Holden Myers, and Colton Schniegenberg barely even in the shot anymore. It just shows you the pace that Parker Ives is capable of running here.
Really impressive stuff here from Parker Ives. I mean, all weekend long, this has been the name of the game, right? He gets out to a lead. He's showing his true pace, 2 to 3 tenths faster in the field. Holden Myers, though, I got to say, throughout this lap, seems to be equal to him in terms of pace. We'll see when he crosses the line as they exit turn 9 and 10 there, the double right-hander. Holden Myers staying within the toe of Parker Ives. Really impressive stuff there from the Kart driver.
And this is what we've seen the rest of this weekend leading up to this event. Anytime someone made a pass for that P2 spot, and if Parker Ives was in the lead, he was gone. He could break that draft and leave. But as long as Holden Myers stays within draft range, he has a fighting chance of this.
Yeah, Parker Ives through 1, 2, and 3. Just gets such a good launch out of the corner. But Holden Myers, once again, down the back straight, gets the toe. Sucks right up there to Parker Ives. The gap's extending just a little bit, ever so slightly. Last time by, Parker Ives went purple at a 54.8, 1/10 quicker than Holden Myers. Holden Myers keeping him honest, though, right? We'll see how this shapes out with 6 minutes plus 2 laps to go. But Holden Myers is there. Schniegenberg somewhat there in the same frame now, just a few tenths of a second slower than these two guys per lap at this point in the race.
It's impressive the pace that Parker Ives is putting up currently. Like you said, purple that last time by himself, no draft needed. Even Holden Myers behind him with the draft assistance couldn't match his last lap time as they cross the start finish. Just under 6 minutes plus 2 laps remaining in this final event, part of Fight Night 2023 Stars Championship Series.
Yeah, consistently last 2 laps that Parker Ives has led, he's been about a tenth of a second quicker than Holden Myers. But Holden Myers, like I said, just staying there, staying within the toe. It's the second Parker Ives breaks that toe to Holden Myers, that's where we're going to see the true speed of Holden Myers.
We saw another 54.8 last time by from Parker Ives, matching his best lap the lap before. Consistency is what's keeping him out front. Holden Myers still hanging on, another 54.9 by him, so a bit of a loss, but still within a couple kart lengths of your leader as there are 5 minutes now remaining on this clock. They head back towards the last corner of this track, and we'll head down the start-finish, Alex.
Yeah, this is the part of the racetrack that Holden Myers really likes. You can tell through all the tight corners, he gains a lot of time in Parker Ives. Clearly, they've geared it a little bit higher. He has enough, just to get him out of the corner, but through this part of the racetrack, turns 1, 2, and 3 is where Parker Ives, stretches his legs a little bit and shows the true pace of his go-kart and his engine there, pulling away from Holden Myers to all the fast part.
He's certainly flexing his muscles a bit here as he lays down a 54.740 on his own on that last lap. Another best lap of the race, not matched by Holden Myers. The gap continuing to expand bit by bit as Parker Ives is trying to seal the deal here in the Micro Swift final with just over 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, Parker Ives consistently, like I said, about a tenth or so a lap faster than Holden Myers throughout this entirety of this race. The second he's led, looks over his shoulder, sees the gaps extended even more as they around the final corner here. Parker Ives going to cross the line, see what lap he turns this time. Probably purple again. The rate he's going just about. Yes, it is purple. 54.7, 3/10 quicker than Holden Myers now. This is where his kart really starts to shine. His kart's getting better as Holden and Sneaky Bird's karts are starting to diminish a little bit.
And we're on lap 12 in his best lap on lap 12 so far, so just keeps getting faster does Parker Ives in that number 48 machine, checking out on this field currently, and now 7/10 advantage to P2. Colton Schiegenberg 2 seconds behind your race leader, and behind that it's almost 18 seconds to P4. So these three drivers showing what they're capable of and walking away from the rest of this field.
Just super impressive stuff here from the top three. Looking a little further back, Luke Gilio, involved in that turn 1 incident there, fell back all the way to the back of the pack in 20th, has driven his way up to 10th place. The number 68 Energy Kart has been absolutely flying this entire race.
An impressive recovery, but a tough break in the early part of this race for Luke Gilio as he's inside the top 10 now, running faster than the drivers ahead of him, but still deep in that mix and unable to contend for the win of this final event. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Parker Ives still your leader by over a second now, Alex.
Speaking of which, Parker Ives a 54.5. It's almost like he's found another gear. Where's the nitrous button on that steering wheel?
That's incredible. 4/10 faster than Holden Myers last time by. Continues to extend his advantage. Another fastest lap. 2/10 better than his last fastest lap. What can stop this kid at this point, Alex?
I don't want to say it 'cause it's commentator curse, but Parker Ives right now, not a lot can stop him. Besides himself, really, to be honest. Maybe a mistake here and there, but seems to be immortal.
He's certainly putting the work in. 54.8 last time by, still 2/10 faster than Holden Myers. Continues to stretch out his advantage. We've hit the 2-minute mark. Once that runs out, we'll have 2 extra laps to finish this main event for your Micro Swift category here at Trackhouse Motorplex.
On our screen right now, it's a battle for P7 there between Sterling Mulata, Parker Stewart, and Danny O'Gara. Good little battle here as you see the move to the inside there on the 41 of Sterling Mulata. He's going to get shoved wide quite a bit there to move O'Gara and Parker Stewart by, and that's all that battle is going to help Luke Gilio get in the fight here for P7.
You can see him in the back of your frame now, approaching these three drivers as they continue to fight. We saw a double move there in turn 1, but this action keeps happening. It should be enough time for the driver of the number 68 machine to arrive on the scene.
Yeah, good move there, like we said, from Danny O'Gara and Sterling Mulata. Mulata falls back to P9 there, losing a little bit of ground from the P7, P8 boys. Luke Gilio's in on the mix here. We have a minute plus 2 laps to go. That's about 4 laps left in this race. Luke Gilio is definitely having a chance here with these 3 guys.
You certainly would think so as they continue to line up. He makes gains on them every time by. Luke Gilio setting a 55.6 on his last lap through. We'll check what it is this time. 55.4 to a 57.1 in front of him. So running down that gap quickly.
Yeah, absolutely flying there is Luke Gilio. We knew he had the pace all race long, all weekend long, really. Just unfortunate that he got involved in that incident there in turn 1. Good to see him make a good recovery drive there up to P10. There he is. He's actually just made the move on Sterling Mulata. So Luke Gilio up to P9 from the back of the grid. So good recovery drive from him so far.
And as the leader crosses the line now with 16 seconds remaining, that'll put us at 3 laps to go. So 3 laps to go for Parker Ives up front. And we'll see another move from Luke Gilio as he takes that spot away from Sterling Mulata, continues to work his way forward.
Yeah, that was Parker Stewart now. So now Luke Gilio up in a P8 and setting his sights on P7. Danny O'Gara he might be on for a 7th place finish here after falling back to P20.
What a recovery that would be, Alex. Luke Gillio working his way forward. 3 laps left in this main event. 55.5 last time by, 56.3 for the driver in front of him.
I mean, we're on lap 16 here, and Parker Ives, as you see Luke Gillio to the inside of Daniel Gara, makes it stick. There goes Luke Gillio up into the top 7. As I was saying, though, we're on lap 16, and Parker Ives another 54.5, matching his purple lap that he set a few laps ago. I mean, just the pace that he has been able to show over 17 laps is unbelievable from this youngster.
Sticks in the air. We are 2 to go for this Micro Swift final. Dominating performance out front for Parker Ives. Now a 2.5-second lead over his nearest competitor, Holden Myers. Colton Schniegenberg still in P3, and the fight behind them a ways back, but not insignificant. It is raging on as Luke Gillio continues to work his way forward, Alex.
Yeah, we see a move there to the inside. That's the number 9 go-kart there of Jake Manalio, making the move on Austin Taylor. That's for P13. Good move there from Jake Manalio. Actually, P12 make it for Jake Manalio, so good move there for him.
As we cycle around, the white flag is in the air. Parker Ives coming through the final corner this time by. He will see the white flag, and 1 lap to go left in this main event.
Parker Ives with the white flag. Let's see if we can take him around for a lap around Trackhouse Motorplex through 1, through 2, hopping the curb there, riding through 3 here. This is where he's been really, really strong on this back straightaway. The motor just keep turning there through turn 4 now. Look at the hands, smooth as can be there. Parker Ives, smooth sailing out front, has a 2.5-second lead. I mean, just like we've seen all weekend long. Give him a chance to lead this race as he heads through turn 6. He seems to just be able to pull away. Unbelievable and impressive from this driver.
The pace is really unmatched by any of his competitors on track. Still in the 54s every time through. Only 2 drivers in the 54s in this entire race, Alex. Parker Ives on a run of a lifetime. Coming to the last corner, he will complete it, come onto the front straight, and he will see checkered flags as he wins Fight Night in Micro Swift. It's part of the Stars Championship Series. Your winner, Parker Ives. Followed closely behind, Holden Myers and Colton Schniegenberg will round out your top 3. Farther back, Bryson Scales and Anthony Mazzucuolo, P4 and P5. P6, Christopher Lavoie, Luke Gillio coming home P7, Danny O'Gara P8, Parker Stewart P9, and Sterling Mulana rounding out your top 10, Alex.
What a race there. I mean, what a run for Parker Ives, though. Just dominating weekend for him, really. Consistent, like you said, the only guy to be consistently in the 54s. I mean, really, Holden Myers, good job for him to even get into the 54s. The only other driver to do it all race long. Parker Ives did it every single lap. He wins by 2.7 seconds. That being said, when we come back, we're going to get ready to do Pro Rock Master Racing. Don't go anywhere. right, if you can hear it in the background, the first of 2 gearbox classes feature racing here for the Pro Rock Master guys. Let's say you through the grid here, Simon.
Starting off on the front row, Joe Ruck, Scott Presti will lead your field to green. Behind them, Evan Batt, Brian Chatfield, Lance Lane, and Frank Runko make up row 3. Michael Rivera, Steve Libretto are your 4th row. Robert Feige, Justin Kelly, row 5. Lauren Ventak and Brad Danoff, row 6. Hugh Templeman and Michael Gouache, row 7. Tiffany Kelly, Kelly Johnson, row 8. Corey Matthews and Marciano Santos, row 9. Carlos Lopes and Matt Machiko, row 10. AJ Naud, Colton Aldridge, row 11. And rounding out your field, Maxime Tichon, row 12.
I just got to say, I mean, we didn't really mention on the broadcast there, but Joe Ruck spun on the back straightaway and wound up in the grass there. Has to do a little bit of extra weaving here to get the grass off his tires. That's going to hurt his hole shot here a little bit. We'll see.
Especially with the temperatures coming down here, track getting colder. Lights are on officially. Saturday night here at Trackhouse Motorplex. Fight night, Stars Championship Series, as these Pro Rock Masters get lined up into their grid positions. We'll get ready to start the starting sequence and go racing here for our feature event in Pro Rock Masters.
Yeah, one of the coolest views we get all year long. Sun's going down, lights are on, and we're going a standing start here for some gearbox racing with the Master Shifter guys. Cannot wait to see how this one unfolds. Joe Ruck, Mr. Hole Shot all weekend long on the front row. Scott Presti, fastest guy all through the pre-final, starting on the outside of row 1. They're getting all set. Stars officials are moving out the way here. Lights are going to come on. We're about to get ready to do some Rock Master racing. Here we go. Lights are out, and here we go. Oh, Scott Presti couldn't find a gear there. He's going to lose a spot. Maybe it would have been Evan Batt. Couldn't make it stick there for Evan, so Scott Presti holds on a P2, but Joe Ruck with a great start.
All clean through 3 turns here. Joe Ruck out to a great start. Scott Presti follows close behind. Didn't quite get the start he was looking for in that Ralph Schumacher number 608 Kart. Immediately put under pressure by the 604 of Evan Batt, but he recovers, bounces back, and he's immediately putting pressure back on Joe Ruck for the lead of this race. He's going to dive down the inside, and he's through. Joe Ruck loses the position out to Scott Presti. Scott Presti, your new leader in that Ralph Schumacher Kart. He's going to still have pressure on from Joe Ruck and Evan Batt behind.
Scott Presti had to make that move. He saw Joe Ruck spin on the outlap. Joe Ruck struggling for traction there. That could be tire pressures, could be still grass on the tires. We know how long it takes to get the grass off the tires there. That doesn't help Joe Ruck at all, but Scott Presti has seen the pace that Joe Ruck has shown all weekend long, knew he had the opportunity to make a move and had to go for it.
He will take advantage immediately, charging his way to the front of this field to lead the initial opening laps of our Rock Shifter Master final. Here at Trackhouse Motorplex, we come through the infield section. Still Scott Presti over Joe Ruck. Joe Ruck close there behind. And it's Joe Ruck under attack from Evan Batt. Evan Batt launching one down the inside of turn 8. Not quite going to get that move to stick. And he'll fall under pressure to Brian Chatfield right behind him.
Evan Batt went for a late move into turn 8. Almost made it stick, but got on the curbing a little bit too much. Clipped the left rear of Joe Ruck. Just couldn't make it stick there for Evan Batt. But these guys are trying to take advantage of Joe Ruck's tires, not come up to temperature as fast as you'd like them to.
And Scott Presti pressing the early advantage of 47.3 on that last lap. 47.8 for Joe Ruck. The times will continue to fall, but great opening lap pace for Scott Presti as he extends his advantage to about a half second out in front over Joe Ruck, and Evan Batt behind. Brian Chatfield chasing Evan, and Lance Lane behind him will round out your top 5, Alex.
Yeah, Scott Presti finally being able to show us the true pace he's had all weekend long. Just, didn't really have the heats he would have wanted, not even the qualifying he would have wanted. Had a decent pre-final, put him up on the front row. Now he has the lead over Joe Ruck and extending his advantage every single lap so far, but Joe Ruck goes purple, matches Scott Presti's lap. They both did a 47 flat. It's going to take a little bit more than that for Joe Ruck to close the gap.
Only about a half second separates the two now, as we see fairly even margins throughout the entire top 10 at this stage in the race. 12 minutes plus 2 laps remaining, so still in the early stages of this final. but Scott Presti and Joe Ruck matching paces early on.
Yeah, like you said, 6/10 last time by. Looks to be closer this time by. Joe Ruck's tires looking to be up to temperature now. The kart's not sliding as much on him in the mid-corner as we were seeing on lap 1 and 2. Look at the hands, smooth and steady. Has the traction he likes now. Kart looks like it's coming to play. The Maranello karts has been fast in both shifter classes, and here comes Joe Ruck. Round in the final corner. This looks like a good lap. Let's see it. It's a 46.6. He's 3/10 faster than Scott Presti last time by. Here comes Joe Ruck in P2.
3/10 advantage to Joe Ruck in that #1 reigning champion Maranello kart as he approaches the rear bumper of that Ralph Schumacher kart of Scott Presti out in front.
Yeah, Joe Ruck all over the gearbox there of Scott Presti. Now Presti's going to have to look over his shoulder any minute now. Ruck got poor traction out of 6. Presti's going to be able to do a normal line of turn 8 here. Joe Ruck, though, just staying stationed behind Scott Presti for now.
Still even margins throughout the top 4. Only a couple of kart lengths separates each of them. All 4 of the top 4 into the 46s early in this session. We'll see what the lap times are this time across the stripe. 47.0 for Scott Presti. 46.8 for Evan Batt there in third. That's the quickest lap on this time by.
Yeah, here comes Evan Batt. 2/10 faster than the leader last time by. 3/10 quicker than Joe Ruck. But like I said, Joe Ruck made a mistake out of 6. He's made amends for it now this lap. Already closing the gap quite a bit. It was half second. Now it's about 2 kart lengths. Here comes Joe Ruck. He gets a much better exit on turn 6 than he did last time by. Oh, really sideways there through 7. That kart is on absolute rails, maybe a little bit past it for Joe Ruck's liking.
Joe Ruck pushing for everything he has got, using a lot of curve, getting sideways onto that infield back straight as they head towards the final corner. He may have lost just a little bit of time from that, but nothing too significant as they come by the stripe. Start their next lap. 10 minutes plus 2 laps remaining. A 46.8 for Evan Batt, still quicker than your leaders at a 46.9. 47.4 behind them for Brian Chatfield. So this looks like a race between the top 3 as it stands.
Yeah, but remember Brian Chatfield in that pre-final. Towards the middle and end of that race, he was the quickest car on the racetrack. For all we know, Brian Chatfield said his tire pressure is very low, and he's planning on coming in maybe later in this race. There's still 10 minutes plus 2 laps to go. It's a long way to go in the shifter class.
And one thing we have to think about here, Alex, the sun not fully set yet. It is on its way down, so temperatures will keep plummeting as the track gets darker. The infield lighting comes on. It's going to change the way these karts react to the rubber on the track. Joe Ruck still pressuring the Ralph Schumacher kart out in front of Scott Presti. A 46.5 last time by. That's a purple lap for Joe Ruck as he takes 3/10 out of the advantage of Scott Presti and arrives on his rear bumper immediately, Alex.
Joe Ruck absolutely flying right now. Almost, he was 3/10 faster than Presti last time by. He was so quick out of 1 and 2. He went for a move in 3, couldn't make it work. Presti still holding on to the lead. Just though, you can see Presti's car starting to slide around a little bit, middle of the corner. His tires might be going away already. For all we know, he put a higher tire pressure on just to get the advantage on the opening parts of the lap here. But now, with 9 minutes to go, he's have to hold on through a hard charging Joe Ruck.
In these shifter classes, they are one of the heavier classes and a higher top speed on these karts, higher cornering speeds. They will use a lot of tire. So tire's going to be more important in these classes than some of the younger classes, you would say. As we see a move for the lead into turn 3. Joe Ruck makes the move, secures the lead. An odd spot to do it, but he makes it work, and that'll bring Evan Batt right onto the back of the top 3.
Yeah, that move was a little premeditated, right? I mean, last lap we saw him peeking nose there, didn't make it work. He knew he was faster out of 1 and 2, so he backed up turn 1, got a real good run out of it, and made that move sticking to Presti. And now Evan Batt is going to go through a late lunge on Scott Presti, pinches him off on the exit. Evan Batt to P2. Here he comes. He was quicker than Joe Ruck by 2/10 last time by. He'll need a little bit more to get up to him.
And in the course of 1 lap, Scott Presti has not lost 1 but 2 positions and still under pressure from a charging Brian Chatfield, who is running 46s fairly consistently. So he is arriving on the scene. You can see him there in the number 619 kart in 4th place currently.
Yeah, just like I was saying, Brian Chatfield, like we saw in the pre-final, as soon as the middle of the race comes around, that's when his kart comes alive. That's how he likes it set up right here. And here comes Brian Chatfield, looking to get a good run out of 6. Not enough to maybe make a move on Presti here, but he's arrived on the scene. It is a 4-kart race here in Rockmaster.
Joe Ruck retaining his lead that he took from Scott Presti by about a half second. The next 3 are in line. Only a couple of kart links separating them as they come through the final corner down the front straight. 7 minutes and change remaining in this final for Rock Shifter Masters.
Last time by, Joe Ruck about a tenth faster than the 3 cars behind him. That'll be enough at this point in the race to maintain that lead. But like we were saying, 7 minutes to go plus 2 laps. Still a lot of racing to go here. Presty's kart seems to have come back to him a little bit. He's keeping Evan Batt honest here. Actually, exit 6, decent exit there. Not enough to make a move into turn 8, but like I was saying, Scott Presty, kart's coming back to him a little bit. Sun's going down. The track's going to pick up. It's going to get grippier. It's going to keep the tires underneath him a little bit throughout this race.
We've seen a peak pace out of Joe Ruck at a 46.5, but he seems to be settling right around into the 46.9, 47.0 range as they try to manage these tires for the next 6 minutes plus 2 laps to survive to the end and have a fighting chance at winning this main event on fight night here at Trackhouse Motorplex.
Yeah, last time by, looks to me like Evan Batt has gotten around, Scott Presty has caught up to Evan Batt now. Scott Presty, he was to the bumper of Evan Batt through 3 and 4. Evan Batt did a much better turn 4 than Scott Presty did. Presty still sliding around a little bit through the fast parts of the racetrack tires. Still not where he'd like him to be, but just still putting the pressure on Evan Batt.
He's definitely all over that rear bumper, making his presence known to the driver of the number 604 machine in P2 there of Evan Batt. Evan Batt, a 47.0 last time by to the leader's pace of 46.8, so lost of 0.2 of a second that time by. This time the advantage still stretching out by about another tenth, almost to a second now of an advantage for Joe Ruck out front. But look who's arrived on the scene, and that is Scott Presty putting the pressure onto Evan Batt all over his rear bumper now, Alex.
Yeah, Scott Presty through 1, 2, and 3 has the pace advantage over Evan Batt. Evan Batt through 4 all the way to the end of the race, the rest of the racetrack seems to be a little bit quicker than Scott Presty. Through turn 6 especially is where Presty loses a lot of ground. Kart slides around middle to the off the corner there. Can't get to the traction that he'd like to through turn 7 and 8, and just can't get to the bumper of Evan Batt to make a move.
And while all this is happening, looming in the background, Brian Chatfield matching the pace of the leaders pretty much this entire time. He's coming through the last corner now, the HUD down the front straight, and Chatfield there in frame, sitting in the P4 position of 47.0 last time by, quicker than your leader by about 0.2, so he is certainly hanging on. He's going to want a challenge for one of these podium positions in the final stages of this race. Let's
see if that's true to pace here for Joe Ruck. If Joe Ruck didn't make a mistake, and he's actually 0.2 slower than Evan Batt for the end of this race, it's going to make things very interesting. We don't know if Joe Ruck made a mistake, or maybe Joe Ruck maybe doing a bit of tire conservation just in case Evan Batt catches up to him. We'll find out here with 4 minutes and change to go. But Evan Batt has pulled away from Scott Presty. His kart has come to life here with a few laps to go.
And certainly they are going to be pushing for all they have now. Tire management ending its closing stages. We're entering the time of push for all you have got left in these tires in your kart. 46.8 for Joe Ruck last time by, 46.9 for Evan Batt. Not making much progress, still about a 0.8 of a second behind him as we come towards the closing stages of this race, Alex.
Yeah, Evan Batt right now seems to be all he's got. Just consistent 46.9s and 47 flat. He's at the limit of the go-kart on the tire at this point. He's hoping for a mistake out of Joe Ruck. Joe Ruck has been almost picture perfect all weekend long. Consistently been the quickest guy in this class, besides a few laps here and there from Scott Presty and Brian Chatfield and Evan Batt. But other than that, Joe Ruck has shown the best race pace out of everybody here and proving it here in the feature race.
What a fight from our top 4 drivers. Obviously a large gap behind them now, but all 4 drivers displaying their skills, pushing for a competitive, hard-fought race here. All of them turning in good laps, putting the pressure on each other to push forward and hopefully catch Joe Ruck, your leader, by 1.2 currently.
Yeah, good run here from all the top 4, but last time by, Joe Ruck still a 46.9, about 0.3 faster than Evan Batt last time by. Evan Batt was 0.2 slower than Scott Presty, so Presty back on the rear bumper now with Evan Batt through turn 6. This is the corner he's struggled on all weekend long, all race long really. Presty got a decent exit out of there, not going to be close enough through turn 8, but he's back to the bumper of Evan Batt. This is going to get interesting here with a few minutes to go.
Evan Batt definitely under pressure, and he'll know that. So we see an issue for a driver off to the side there. Not sure who that was, but Evan Batt still under pressure from that Ralph Schumacher kart right behind him.
Yeah, Evan Batt not making a lot of inroads in on Joe Ruck, but falling to the clutches here of Scott Presty. Last time by, Brian Chatfield, fast guy out of the 4 of them. just keeping them all honest, staying there in P4. He wants that podium.
And he's certainly looking like he wants to go for it. Presti looking to the inside of Bat, not going to make it work that time into turn 4. It's going to bring all three of them bumper to bumper as they head through the infield section of this track. We've got a double left-hander headed onto a short straight, then our tightest corner on the track, the hairpin, our best passing opportunity as well. No one close enough this time by, but still the pressure remains.
Presti, that was a bold move. He tried to make in turn 4. The Evan Bat later on the brakes than he was, holds on, stays in P2 for now, but all this fighting is going to give Joe Ruck a very good chance at winning this race now.
And as he comes by the start-finish line, a 47.0 that time by, he's been incredibly consistent.
Here we go.
1.5 second advantage. And Scott Presti down the inside. He'll make the move stick on Evan Bat that time through turn 1.
Scott Presti, what a move he made there. Got such a rocket of a launch out of turn 11. Made it work into turn 1. Let's see if he can pull away now from Evan Bat.
As we come through the infield sections of the track, Presti he's going to want to display his true pace and push away from that 604 card of Evan Bat behind him. Chatfield's going to want to try and take his advantage and push towards Evan Bat as well, as the three of them still fairly nose to tail with a minute plus 2 laps remaining in this race.
I just want to take a quick second to shout out the top 4 here and how impressive they've been. I mean, they have about an 8-second advantage over 5th place Frank Runco. And Frank Runco's been running solid 47, 47.4s all race long, 47.1 even for him. Just these 4 have had consistent, just incredible, ruthless pace almost, just to pull away from the rest of the field.
Absolutely. It's a large gap now, 10 seconds from P3 to P4 to P5 currently, excuse me. But Joe Ruck still dominating out front. Behind him, Chatfield starting to put the pressure on Evan Bat as they approach the hairpin, Alex.
Yeah, Brian Chatfield, his kart seems to be handling just a little bit better than Evan Bat right now. Evan Bat struggling for traction out of the tighter corners here. Let's see him through the double rights. Evan Bat seems to be all right through there. It's just through the slower section of the racetrack where you see his car start to slide on power. Let's see it. Through 11. It's hopping on him quite a bit there. Couldn't get the power as early as Chatfield or Presti there. Across the line they go. Chatfield actually a tenth slower than Evan Bat last time by. That won't be enough with 3 to go.
He's still within a couple of kart lengths, however. 3 to go officially now under the lights here at Trackhouse Motorplex for our Rock Shifter Masters final night fight here in 2023. Part of the Stars Championship Series presented by Extreme Sim Racing USA. Evan Bat still holding off a charging Brian Chatfield behind him, Alex.
Yeah, right now Scott Presti has pulled away from Evan Bat. Last time by 2 tenths quicker. This time by seems to be even faster than Evan Bat once again. So really the battle that is raging on is for P3, the final spot on the podium. Who's it going to be, Evan Bat or Brian Chatfield or somebody else if some dramatic events happen here?
With the sticks in the air, we are 2 to go in this main event. Rock Shifter Masters, Chatfield still all over the back of Evan Bat this time. He's closer than he's been prior. Will he be able to make a move here within a kart length now and 2 laps to go? We're going to see a fight start to break out for this number 3 and final spot on the podium.
Exiting turn 6 now. Chatfield, not the exit he would have wanted. Evan Bat going to give himself a bit of breathing room, entering the brake zone of turn 8. Doesn't have to defend too much here. Chatfield going to have to close that gap. He wants a chance here. He was close on the turn 4, didn't go for it. Lost a little bit through 5 and 6, and now as they round turn 9, entering 10 and 11 here. Evan Bat with enough breathing room here, getting the white flag to go. It's going to take an incredible final lap from Brian Chatfield to make a move at Evan Bat. Entering turn 1 now, driving in super deep as Brian Chatfield now up and over the curbing. Sparks flying as we're under the lights now. Down the back straightaway. Does he have anything? Not close enough here to make a move at Evan Bat as they round the bowl corner.
Well, with half a lap remaining in this race, he's going to have 1-2 more chances at most to make the move on Evan Bat here for the final spot on your podium. Chatfield not close enough into the hairpin this time as they head down the short chute. He'll stay behind. Not close enough still. 2 to 3 kart lengths separating him, and I'm not sure if it's going to be enough as we cut back to Joe Ruck coming through the final corner this time, and he will win your main event and Rock Shifter Masters here at Night Fight, part of the Stars Championship Series. Scott Presti comes home P2, Evan Bat P3, Brian Chatfield P4, and Frank Rucco will round out your top 5, Alex.
Yeah, what a dominant performance there from Joe Ruck, right? It's what we expected really going through this race. It's what he's shown all weekend long throughout the heats and the pre-final. been consistently just a little bit faster on the long run in terms of everybody else. You know, the one-lap pace was there for everybody else, but Joe Ruck in this final just showed the pace that he had. I mean, a 46.5 compared to everybody else's 46.8s and 7s just showed the pace that he has in that Maranello kart.
Yeah, well driven all weekend by Joe Ruck. Finishing in P6, Michael Gouache. 7th, Lance Lane. 8th, Justin Kelly. 9th, Michael Rivera. 10th, Robert Fiege. 11th, AJ Naud. 12th, Morn Vintak. 13th, Matt Machiko. 14th, Tiffany Kelly. And 15th, Maxime Tichon. 16th, Hugh Templeman. 17th, Kelly Johnson. 18th, Brad Danoff. 19th, Marciano Santos. 20th, Colton Aldridge. 21st, Steve Libretto. And closing out your field, Corey Matthews in 22nd position. This has been Rock Shifter Masters main event under the lights here at Trackhouse Motorplex. When we come back, K.A. Jr. will hit the track for their main event under the lights. Stay tuned, more action to come.
Welcome to Ohio Kart Parts, the Midwest's largest Burrell Art racing go-kart dealer. We carry Burrell Art, Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, and Robert Kubica branded go-karts, as well as parts from names you trust. Chassis components from Freeline, engines from IAME, Briggs & Stratton, and soon-to-be Tillotson, electronics from AIM Technologies, MG Tires, Taika Axles, seating from Tillett, Arai Helmets, and 3/10 Race Products. Visit us online at www.ohiokartparts.com, at our facility in Lorain, Ohio, or at the local track on race weekends. If we don't have it, call us at 440-628-KART. That's 5278, and we will do what we can to help you out.
Welcome back here, round one of the Stars Championship Series. Night fight from Trackhouse Motorplex. The sun has gone down, the lights have come up, and we're getting ready to go. K.A. Jr. Racing. I cannot wait for this one. Let's take you through your starting lineup on pole position. We have Mason Walters in the class of the field all weekend long. Wesley Gunler put on a great show in pre-final to start himself in P2. P3, John Anthony on board the CRG. P4, Victor the Allen car. P5, Luca Brancati. P6, Luke Powers. P7, Jackson Walney. P8, Ben Hernandez. P9, Caleb Carter and Lucas Allen. And P10, row 6 going to be Austin Olds and CJ Bowman. Row 7, Isaac Malquit, James Newell. Row 8, Carter McMurray and Indy Anderson. Row 9, Cole Wilson and Roman McCurdy. Row 10, Nathan Holy, Henry Taylor. Row 11, Sebastian Rist and Ben Gott. Row 12, Davin Roberts and Jackson Deal. Row 13, Mason Kuhn and Cash Perkins. Row 14, Homer Heyman and Max Whalen. Row 15, Mateo Pappas and Race Beckman. Row 16 will be Forrest Adams and Christian Blevins Jr. Row 17, Landon Cardwell and Ryan Mort. Row 18, Kennedy Tracy, Keelan Turini. Row 19, Will Franklin, Isabel Simpson, and rounding out your final row, Hudson Williams and Charlie Myers, as the field gets ready and set to see the lights. Let's see, they're going slow across our finish line now. Let's see, they're on the gas. You can hear them. We're green here, heading towards turn 1. Good start for Walters. Anthony on the CRG is going to try this on the second. Can't. Good starter on the outside. We have 4 or 5 carts around there. 2 on top of each other there in turn 1.
A collectively chaotic start at the back of the field. This time a full field of 40 drivers coming through into turn 4. Side by side this time by single file. Only that small incident on the start. Haven't seen anything else. So fairly clean start to this race, especially up front. Mason Walters taking your lead into the hairpin. First time by.
Yeah, we see a move there on Victor D'Alencar. I believe that is Luke Powers making a move there for P4. Austin Olds started, I believe, in P12, already up there into what looks like P8 there for the MPG driver. What a start for Austin Olds.
Austin Olds, certainly one of the drivers we've been watching all weekend. He's been competitive, he's been quick. Some great racing there with Carter McMurray right behind him all week, and we'll see what they can do to move forward in this final. Currently, Mason Walters and Wesley Gunler will lead your field around the first time by, followed closely by John Antonino, Luke Powers, and Victor D'Alencar is your top 5.
Yeah, let's see if these guys try to work together. Austin Olds getting blocked pretty heavily in the turn 4 by, I think that is Jackson Wolney. Yes, it is. So Austin Olds and Jackson Wolney now fighting there for P6. You don't want to fight too early in the race, though, because you'll start losing ground to these leaders. But if the heat and pre-final is anything to take away, these guys don't like to push each other. They all want to lead every single lap, and that creates a lot of chaos, and it's fun for us to watch.
Not a lot of patience in these junior categories. Everyone wants their turn at the front of the field. Currently, it is Mason Walters, Wesley Gunler, and John Antonino, the top 3, your podium positions in this main event so far. Just under 14 minutes and 2 laps remaining.
Luke Powers having to defend there from Victor D'Alencar. This is the best run we've seen from Victor D'Alencar all weekend long. He's been consistently a top 10 guy, but we haven't seen him up front as much as we would have expected him to. But here he is, the Nash Motorplex driver, up in the 5th place.
Yeah, tough start to the weekend for him, but he's obviously recovering well. Strong run so far in the P5, looking for more up front. Mason Walters and Wesley Gunler are locked nose to tail, working together, trying to push their advantage and get away from the rest of these drivers. Yeah, a little bit of breathing room there for Wesley Gunler. He and Mason Walters have been working pretty well together so far all weekend, and in this race it looks pretty good so far for them, but John Antonino and Luke Powers are going to have something to say about that. A lot of contact further back as they continue to sort out the positions. Top 4 all in a nice, tidy line as we come by the start-finish. That time by 51.7 for John Antonino. Quickest time so far, but Carter McMurray all the way down there in P7 with a 51.5. He is your fastest kart on track currently, right behind Austin Olds. So look for these two to start to close the gap in towards the front of the field.
Yeah, here comes the comp kart driver, Carter McMurray. He got spun around in the pre-final, had to start mid-pack. He's already up to P7 and making a lot of inroads there on Austin Olds and Victor D'Alencar in P5 and 6. There he is, the comp kart driver up in the P7 already. We see a move there on P5. Austin Olds past Victor D'Alencar. Here comes Carter McMurray behind the pair of them.
Carter McMurray working through the double right-hander all over the back of the 877 machine. Victor D'Alencar right in front of them, Austin Olds. And this is your battle for the 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. Currently, Austin Olds moves himself up into P5 with that pass on Victor D'Alencar, and Carter McMurray following close behind. Jackson Wolney arrives on the scene and will make his presence known.
Yeah, as we just saw there, John Antonino makes a move on Wesley Gunler. Gunler holds on to P3 as we see Carter McMurray on the inside of Victor D'Alencar in a turn 4. Move Carter McMurray into P6 and already making a gain there on Austin Olds through turn 7 down to 8. Look at the braking difference here from McMurray. There it is. He's been so good on the brakes all weekend long. Better than Austin Olds even. And Austin Olds has been the master of the outside move there in turn 8. Let's see if these two guys can hook up and try to catch the top 4.
Carter McMurray, the fastest kart on track for every lap completed so far. We'll see what it clicks by this time around. But the top 4 still in line, being hunted down by this next group. Only a couple of kart lengths separate them now. Carter McMurray, another fastest lap of the race at 51.1. The leader's best at 51.4. So 0.3 of an advantage so far for Carter McMurray sitting in that P6 spot.
There it is, down the back straightaway. I saw it happen in there. Antonino got a monster run down the back straight with help from Wesley Gunler. Move the CRG driver up to P1. Mason Walters holds on to P2 on the Lando Norris kart. You see one car off there on the exit of 6. Wesley Gunler's going to hold on to P3 there. Mason Walters doesn't like being in P2 for very long. Back to P1 he goes. Antonino's going to hold the outside there. The CRG driver on the inside of the double right. Now we have Austin Olds on the inside of Luke Powers. Olds going to go to P4. Carter McMurray's not going to follow him through. McMurray on the inside, not going to make it happen there on Luke Powers.
A lot of dicing around the front of the field. The top 4 swapping orders, and that will give Austin Olds, Victor D'Alencar, and Carter McMurray a chance to work their way inside of this top group. Last time by, no one all that quick as the fighting has slowed them all down, and this group is expanding. Now 6, 7 karts strong for the front, and look at that, a move to the inside, a bit of contact. The 8 46, Wesley Gunler looking for a move, not able to get it done on John Antonino for P2.
Very risky move there. That was a super late in the brakes from Wesley Gunler. It looked like front bumper to rear bumper there. Could have spun him around. Good driving from all of them to avoid that. But a bit of too ambitious, I believe, from Wesley Gunler there. I want to see these guys try to push, right? Because they all want to lead, it seems like, and they're not going to push. But it'd be nice to see these guys try to push and pull away here with 9 minutes and change to go. Austin Olds inside of Wesley Gunler there. There goes Austin Olds to P3.
And what a move by Austin will secure himself the P3 spot, like you mentioned. Carter McMurray looking down the inside. He'll make the move into turn 1. Won't quite complete it. He'll go side by side up the hill into turn 3. Move him past Luke Powers.
Yeah, what a strong run there for Carter McMurray so far. Powers has to go defensive now. Victor Allen car already. Powers falling back after such a monster start he had. Falling back a little bit to the clutch of these guys in P7 and 8. But here comes Carter McMurray. Lost a bit of ground there. Luke Powers had to battle him through turn 1, 2, and 3. But these guys will race. Not if, it's when they race. And McMurray will capitalize on that for sure.
Still, Mason Walters with about a 3/10 of a second advantage out front. Followed pretty closely by John Antonino. John Antonino with pressure behind from Austin Olds. Austin Olds showing space, looking for a move to the inside. He'll get it. P2 for Austin Olds coming onto the front straight this time by. And he's going to want to start to hunt down Mason Walters. He ran identical laps to Mason Walters last time by. What can he do now if he gets the support from John Antonino behind him?
Yeah, here comes Wesley Gunler's got a run on Antonino. Oh, another late move on Antonino. Not going to make it happen again. Antonino ruthless on the defense there between him and Wesley Gunler the last 2 laps. Great driving from both of them. Like you're saying, the Austin Olds, what a run for him. Started middle of the pack, all the way up to P2.
Working his way towards the front of the field, and now Wesley Gunler on the inside of John Antonino. Seeing that that turn 4 move wasn't working, he looks for one on the hairpin, and he will get it done. And look at Carter McMurray looking to the inside of John Antonino as they approach the final corner. He's going to go for it. Move him up a spot. Carter McMurray by John Antonino as they come past the start finish. Now in P4, Alex.
Yeah, Carter McMurray, what a run. Like I was saying, he was spun around backwards in the wall in the pre-final. Started mid-pack. He's up to P4. He's going to try to catch up to these guys in the top 3, and he will because they're going to race. It's not if, it's when. Here comes Carter McMurray on board the comp cart.
Last time by Austin Olds, a 1/10 of a second faster than your leader, Mason Walters. Only a half second separates them, so with the draft effect in play, he's going to quickly close that gap, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely he will. Wesley Gunler not showing the pace we would have quite expected there. Looks like Antonino actually is back on the bumper. McMurray, he got pushed around quite a bit these past few laps. Antonino, one of the fastest guys we've seen all weekend. We see him give the point there to Carter McMurray saying, I'm not going to pass you. I want to push you. I know what it takes to win this KA class, and I want to be a part of the battle for the win.
That he is. Working through our next lap. 6.5 minutes remaining plus 2 laps to close out this main event for KA Juniors. Part of Night Fight Stars Championship Series Round 1. So that move to the inside. A bit of lap traffic for the leaders as they will work to navigate this. This isn't IMSA, but they're getting the training early. So working their way through the infield, heading towards the hairpin. Carter McMurray closing in on Wesley Gunler, Alex.
Yeah, McMurray closing the gap to Wesley Gunler. Incredibly well, actually. I mean, I didn't think he'd have that much more pace than Gunler. I knew he was quick, but man, is he fast right now with 5 minutes and change to go in this race. McMurray to the bumper of Wesley Gunler. Gunler gives him the tap on the helmet saying, please push me. It usually is the universal signal for I'm not quick enough right now and I need help.
And certainly that is Carter McMurray all over Wesley Gunler's back bumper as they come through turn 1. Austin Olds making gains on your leader. Last time by another 1/10 of a second closer. Looking to try and stretch out that advantage. He's making his way to the rear bumper of Mason Walters.
Last time by Carter McMurray, purple, 50.729, 3/10 faster than your leaders. Here he comes on the bumper of Wesley Gunler. I expect a move in a turn 8 here. Is he going to do it? No, he's going to push Wesley Gunler. Really smart driving there from the comp car driver. He knows if I push Wesley Gunler, 2 is going to be faster than 1. Olds isn't quick enough right now to catch up to Mason Walters, so they're kind of both lone rangers out there. If Carter McMurray can push Gunler up, see, Gunler gives him the thumbs up there saying, good job, this is what we need to do to win this race.
And that type of work together is going to reward them greatly if they can keep making progress towards the front of the field. Last time by Austin Olds, another 2/10 of a second up on Mason Walters, but behind them Wesley Gunler with a 50.7 almost matching the fastest lap of the race. They are certainly gaining on this lead step by step with 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps remaining in this main event, Alex.
Yeah, it looks to me like Carter McMurray needs to make a move around Wesley Guntler. At this point in the race, his kart is handling better than Wesley's. You can see him throughout the corners, pushing him through the corner, just getting held up just a little bit, but McMurray still stays behind him. Oh, to the late dive into the turn 8 hairpin. Mason Walters with a crossover move. That's all Wesley Gunther needed now, and they're back in the mix.
And we have a solidified 5-kart battle for the lead here in KA Junior. Mason Walters, your leader, after crossing over Austin Olds, who tried to take that top spot away. They'll come by the line this time. Wesley Gunther in third, Carter McMurray fourth, and John Antonino closing out that top 5 just shortly behind. They've got a bit of an advantage of almost 4 seconds to their next competitors. So these 5s are the ones fighting for the win here. Austin Olds to the inside, Carter McMurray as well. So Austin Olds to take the lead over Mason Walters, and Carter McMurray will slot himself into P3 over Wesley Gunther.
Austin Olds, your new leader. Let's see if Mason Walters is going to actually hold P2 for once. No, he's not. Mason Walters, like he's shown all race long, doesn't like being P2. Austin Olds going to try to hold the outside. That's not going to work. He's going to get pinched off there. Oh, Antonino gives Guntler the bump and run there. Helps him through. Antonino down up to P4. McMurray from P3 to P5.
Position swapping around rapidly here inside the top 5. 3 minutes plus 2 laps remaining. They're going to try and start setting themselves up for the end of this race. Down the inside, Austin Olds for the lead. He'll run wide and he'll allow, look at that, Wesley Guntler to come through, and all the way back to P5 goes Mason Walters as Carter McMurray makes his way through, Alex.
Mason Walters from first to fifth. What a late move from Austin Olds. It was bold, it was brave, it was amazing. Austin Olds, the MPG driver, to the point now. Wesley Gunther in P2, John Antonino on board the CRG in P3, and your leader, who was first down to fifth, making a move on Carter McMurray. A little bit of a hip check there, couldn't make it stick. Mason Walters getting a little bit desperate now to try to get back into the front.
He's passed back for the lead every time he's lost it, but from P5, it's not that easy this time, as we see a kart getting dragged off. That'll be the number
Forrest Adams.
Forrest Adams, who's having a good run. He was up 15 spots from the LCQ up into this main event, but unfortunately a tough break for that driver as we look back to the top 5 here. Another lap down, 2 minutes remaining, Alex.
Wesley Gunther's got a good run out of 3. Will he make a move in the 4? He won't. Antonino gets a little defensive there on Carter McMurray. Mason Walters actually losing a bit of ground on these guys, but they won't stay for that long because the draft is super important on this racetrack, and he has tremendous pace, right? The Landador's car, he's been super fast all weekend long. Unknown territory for him, though, as McMurray to the inside of John Antonino. He's going to make it stick, most likely on the braking. There he goes, a comp car driver up into P3. Mason Walters tries to follow him through, not going to make it happen. Antonino gets defensive now. Walters on the crossover move. Mason Walters, he's through now into P4. Loses a bit of ground to McMurray, but he's through.
That Norris car up another spot. 8:16 of Mason Walters trying to make his way back towards the front of this field after losing the lead to Austin Olds just a few laps ago. Wesley Gunther following Austin closely, and Carter McMurray hanging in there in P3 as they come through to the top of the hill. Wesley Gunther all over the back of Austin Olds, not going to look for a move to the inside this time through turn 4, and Carter McMurray still closing in that gap to the top 2.
Yeah, here comes Mason Walters. He's left John Antonino in the dust right now. Antonino made a bit of a mistake there through 1, 2, and 3. Lost a bit of ground to Mason Walters. Walters now making the jump from P5 to P3. Mason Walters is back in the mix now. It is officially a 3-kart train, about to be 4 and probably 5 before this race is over.
Yeah, definitely. We're coming to 3 laps to go this time by. So with only 3 laps to go, the drivers are going to start to work on setting themselves up for where they want to be coming on to the final lap of this race. Currently, Austin Olds where he wants to be, out front leading, but look at that. Down the inside, Wesley Gunther going to take over that top spot. Top 4, nose to tail as they come to the top of the hill. To the inside, is that Carter McMurray looking down the inside of Austin Olds. Austin Olds going to chop down to the bottom of the track, not going to let him make that move. And to the inside, Mason Walters trying to make a move around Carter McMurray. Not going to make that one stick, Alex.
Yeah, late defense there from Austin Olds. Somehow holds on to P2 over McMurray, who really thought he had that move solidified there in the 4. Olds getting a little defensive there on Carter McMurray. Wesley Gunther's going to hold on to P1 so far, but Austin Olds in P2, where he likes to be. We saw him make the moves on the outside throughout Heat 1 and Heat 2. He's probably thinking the same thing here in the final, but I doubt Wesley Gunther's going to let that happen. McMurray all the way to the bumper of Austin Olds. Austin Olds gets to the back of Wesley Gunther now as they get the 2 to go signal here. Wesley Gunn looks over his shoulder, has to defend over 3 different go-karts. Olds gets held out to dry now. Mason Walters moves McMurray up the racetrack. McMurray down to P2. Here comes Antonino at the P4, and Olds from P2 to P5 in one corner.
It's incredibly easy to lose that many positions with the guys fighting this hard out front. Wesley Gunler, your leader. Carter McMurray slotting himself into P2 as we head towards the midsection of this track. Turn 5, 6, and 7. They'll come onto the short chute and head down towards our hairpin in turn 8. Is anyone close enough to make a move? Yes. Look to the inside. No good. Carter McMurray going to hold that second spot over Mason Walters. Carter McMurray looking to the outside around the double right-hander. He's going to make it stick. Put Carter McMurray to the lead with an awesome move around the outside. And Wesley Gunler trying to look back to the inside, immediately not going to make that one stick. White flag in the air, Alex, and they're side by side heading into turn 1.
Yeah, they need to be careful with how much they race here for P2. They're letting Carter McMurray get away. You see Mason Walters giving them the signal saying, please push me. We're going to lose our chance at a victory here, but what a move around the outside from McMurray there, the double right-hander. Now we're on the final lap here. McMurray has some breathing room right now, but Antonino's going to help Mason Walters. Mason Walters up on the wheel, exiting turn 5 through turn 6. McMurray hits the curb a little bit, drops a tire, exiting 6. Not going to get a good run. Walters probably not close enough to make a lunge. He's going to go for it, though. What a late move from Mason Walters on board the Lando Norris cart. He's in a P1. Antonino now going to go for P2 there. A little hip check to McMurray. He's going to go wide. Mason Walters has enough of a breathing room now. He's probably going to win this one. Antonino's going to have to defend from McMurray. Inside goes Wesley Gunler for P3, but across the line, Mason Walters wins a KA Junior.
Shouts erupt from the pit wall here as they are excited to see Mason Walters claim victory in your KA Junior night fight here at Trackhouse Motorplex. Coming home second, John Antonino with a great drive. Carter McMurray secures P3. Wesley Gunler P4, and Austin Olds rounds out that awesome battle for your top 5, Alex. Farther back, Davin Roberts makes it all the way to P6. Luke Powers P7. Victor DeAlencar P8. Jackson Woolley P9. And Caleb Tarter rounds out your top 10. What a fight we just witnessed, Alex.
What a race. I thought Mason Walters was out of it. I mean, first of all, shout out to Carter McMurray and Davin Roberts, up 12 spots and up 17 positions for Davin Roberts. Great drives across the board, but like I was saying, Mason Walters was in P5 with about 3 laps to go, found himself in position to make a pretty late move there on Carter McMurray. We saw McMurray drop a tire, exit a 6. That little mistake might have cost him victory.
Now, and just touching on that, Davin Roberts up 17 spots to finish P6. What a drive for the number 815.
Really
that
impressive.
Has been such an incredible race. As we take a break under the lights here at Trackhouse Motorplex, part of the Stars Championship Series. When we return, we're bringing you Mini Swift action up next.
Welcome to Ohio Kart Parts, the Midwest's largest Burrell Art racing go-kart dealer. We carry Burrell Art, Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, and Robert Kubica branded go-karts, as well as parts from names you trust. Chassis components from Freeline, engines from IAME, Briggs & Stratton, and soon-to-be Tillotson, electronics from AIM Technologies, MG Tires, Taika Axles, seating from Tillett, Arai helmets, and 3/10 race products. Visit us online at www.ohiokartparts.com, at our facility in Lorain, Ohio, or at the local track on race weekends. If we don't have it, call us at 440-628-KART. That's 5278. And we will do what we can to help you out.
Welcome back here live from Trackhouse Motorplex, round 1 of the Stars Championship Series night fight. We're getting ready set to go Mini Swift racing. Simon, talk to us about some of the action we've seen so far today.
It's been crazy all throughout all the classes. Many good battles. Up next in Mini Swift, Lucas Palacio. It's been the name of the game so far. Can anyone stop him?
I mean, so far this year, not really, right? He's had pretty much every single main event win in Mini Swift, besides a few here and there down in Orlando. But Lucas Palacio, dominant throughout the year, dominant throughout the weekend so far. The name of the game really is don't let him get an early lead. If he gets the lead, he seems to have a little bit more pace than everybody else, pulls away, and it's hard for the guys to catch back up to him. Right now, he's in the best starting spot, P1.
He and Parker Ives in the slower speed classes, the younger drivers doing awesome to secure the pole for both of their fields respectively. Parker Ives coming home with that win earlier. Can we see Lucas Palacio do the same thing as they get ready to head out on track? Engines are fired and they will take to the track for the start of our Mini Swift feature here at Trackhouse Motorplex for Night Fight, part of the Stars Championship Series, round 1. On the pole, we mentioned Lucas Palacio will lead them around to the green flag. Alongside him, Travis Pettit. Row 2 is Kai Mars and Michael McGoy. Row 3, Cameron Marcia, Thomas Chrisman. Row 4, Ashton Woon and Landon Buer. Marco Samut and Bowen Green round out row 5. Theon Shee, Tyrone Kemper Jr. are your 6th row. Jacob Schabel and Max Christie, row 7. Max Christie, a driver we didn't expect to see so far back, so it'll be interesting to keep a tab on his progress through the field. Max McCorum and Holden Harder are your 8th row. In row 9, William Roberts, Ben Gleiberman. In row 10, Darren Kidd and Luke Fedowitz. Row 11, Caleb Tracy, Gabriel Lopez Velarde. Donovan Hogan and Anna McCrone will make up row 12, and your lone driver on row 13, Gabriel Bello, will round out your field. Under the lights, into the nighttime here at Trackhouse Motorplex. We're coming around to get this final race started, a Mini Swift action. Palacio is going to bring them around, line them up in the train lines, and get them racing, Alex.
Yeah, here we go. Lucas Palacio and Travis Pettit on your front row, the two quickest guys in Mini Swift all weekend long. Michael McGoy, P4, outside of row 2. He's been really quick as well. Kai Mars, standout drive for him so far this weekend on board the Trinity Karting Car Republic. But here we go as we're getting ready to go green here. Lucas Palacio, lights are out. He's going to head them down to turn 1. Michael McGoy pulls out really early there, trying to make up any sort of ground there. What a move from row 3. Who was that? I think that was Ashton Woon. I think he's found himself in the P3. Is that so?
That would be amazing if he did. A lot of action headed towards turn 4. Palacio still out front. I'm not sure. The second 2 drivers making passes. Who is that? Up into P2.
That is Michael McGoy, I believe, in P2. So what a run for him so far from row 2 up into P2. Travis Pettit lost time from P2 down to P3. And there goes Theon Shee on Travis Pettit. Theon Shee up to P3. And Kai Mars making amends for a bad start back into P4.
All the drivers, a couple side by side, but mostly in line, heading towards the double right-hander. Everyone clean through the first lap so far. It is Lucas Palacio with a bit of a gap and a big move to the inside for the Tony Kart number 123. Is that Kai Mars?
No, that is Theon Shee. Theon Shee started, I believe, P11 in this race. How on earth is he in P2 right now?
I had no idea. I got tripped up on that. I had no idea he could be all the way up in P2 so early in this race. But what a start for Theon Shee in the number 153 Tony Kart. Behind him, moves are being made. Contact slightly into turn 4. Put Kai Mars behind Michael McGoy as he goes through for P3, Alex.
Yeah, Theon Shee in the P2, Kai Mars to P3, Michael McGoy down to P4. I believe that was Marco Samet now up into P5. Here's all I got to say, though, is all this racing, as good as it's been, has given Lucas Palacio the dream start.
He is out now to almost 8/10 of a second lead. Closing on a second, we have a driver out. Couple drivers out in the hairpin in turn 8. Not sure who that was, but tough break for those drivers a little farther back in the field. That is a tire off.
Yeah,
wow.
We have one guy playing soccer there with the tire, but that's one way to get the tire off the track. I love to see it.
Safety is the priority as we head up the hill through turn 3. Lucas Palacio out to a great lead so far over Theon Shee. It's out to 8/10 now, 55.5 for the 102 driver Lucas Palacio. Last time by, it was a 55.6 for Theon Shee. So a bit of advantage towards Lucas Palacio so far, but purple lap fastest on track. Max Christie in P9 with a 55.4, Alex.
Yeah, Max Christie had to start a bit further back than he would have liked. One of the quickest guys all weekend long, already on the charts with the P9. Goes purple at a 55.4. Times will continue to tumble, though. As the night goes on, the track evolution is going to get even quicker. The tire deg is even less than usual, so we're going to see a lot of good laps here. We're going to see a move there. That's the 114 of Cameron Marshaw and Travis Pettit. Cameron Marshaw on the move. He's up in the P6. And look at the second and third of Kai Mars and Fianchi have caught up to Lucas Palacio. So this is going to be a breakaway race like we've been used to seeing. Lucas Palacio under fire there from the OTK driver.
7/10 of an advantage last time by for Fianchi over Lucas Palacio, and they have made inroads into that gap, immediately arriving onto the scene. Both Fianchi and Kai Mars have taken themselves to the front to fight with Lucas for the win of this Mini Swift final. Down the inside, Fianchi, your new leader out of turn 8, the hairpin, and he will take it over Lucas Palacio and Kai Mars, all three nose to tail headed through the double right.
Fianchi started outside your top 10. He's up in a P1 with 12 minutes to go in the Mini Swift race. I don't know how he's done it, but what an incredible start of this race for Fianchi and the OTK team. He's your new leader. Lucas Palacio, we know he doesn't like to be P2 for very long. Back to the point he goes. Kai Mars going to follow him through.
We say this every time. Lucas not happy anywhere but the front of the field. Kai Mars will follow him through up the hill. The top of turn 3, still nose to tail. The top 4, about nose to tail, and a move for P5. Make that Marco Summit past Michael McGoy.
Yeah, good move there from Marco Samet on board the Lando Norris go-kart there. Good move for him. Michael McGoy is falling back after the great start. We saw him go up to P2. He's back to P6. Travis Pettit to the inside of Fianchi. So Fianchi from first to fourth in one lap there. Not the lap he would have wanted there from the OTK driver, but up front, Kai Mars, the two Kart Republic drivers, the Trinity karting driver and the Kart Republic driver of Lucas Palacio out front, working well together so far.
So far, so clean for Lucas Palacio. Out front, right behind him, Kai Mars. He only didn't lead for a few corners before he took that spot back from Fianchi, who now rests in the 4th position. We see a massive line of drivers, only a few kart links separating each of them as they head down into turn 4. Palacio still the head of the field, Alex.
Yeah, but here comes Travis Pettit. Travis Pettit has closed that gap all by himself. He's made it a 3-kart battle for the lead, and it's really about to be a 6-kart battle because Fianchi is carrying Marco Samet and Max Christie with him. Max Christie, fastest guy on the racetrack last time by.
Marco Samet, fastest driver on track this session so far with a 53.9. Palacio setting his personal best last time by at a 54.19. So a several tenth advantage for the driver down in P5. I think we're going to see this field continue to tighten up. Palacio looking for a way to break away, but none have showed themselves to him so far. We cross the line this time by Travis Pettit in P3. Quicker than your leaders, Alex.
Yeah, like I was saying, Max Christie was P6 last time by. Now he's P5. Just got around Marco Samet. He's making the jump now up to Fianchi. Fianchi by himself has caught up to your leaders. It is a 4-kart train for the lead, but it's about to be 5 because Max Christie is flying right now.
Christie with a 53.9 last time by, and the fastest driver on track last time by with the fastest time of the session. Cameron Marshall all the way down in P9, the number 114 kart. Putting in some good work, fast times, quicker than your leader so far, and we're seeing it start to stack up. The top 4 all nose to tail now with Lucas Palacio leading the train.
Yeah, Kai Mars doing a really good job of just staying patient, looking over his shoulder. Knows there's not a lot of pressure behind him. There is, but not really because it is his teammates. Travis Pettit, the 2 Trinity karting drivers. He knows Pettit won't go for a move around him. Kai Mars can just focus forward. Purple lap there from Marco Samet at a 53.6, 2/10 faster than leader last time by. But the fastest of this 5-kart breakaway, Max Christie at a 53.6, just like Marco Samet.
Those 2 drivers in the 5th and 6th spots running the fastest times on track, and you can see them just in the back of the frame there. They will continue to push towards the front of this field. The top 3 and 4 still nose to tail. Kai Mars happy there in 2nd place. Travis Pettit hanging out in 3rd. Are they going to go for a move? No, they will all stay in line into the hairpin this time through. In the top 5, still nose to tail, Alex.
Yeah, Trinity karting running 1-2 with Kai Mars and Travis Pettit. It is the dream stuff there for the Trinity Karting Group team. They know they can trust the 2 drivers to work together and not go for moves. But Fianchi has something to say about that one for sure.
Kart Republic certainly doing well so far. Lucas Palacio in that Kart Republic out front, the number 102, a 53.9 last time by. And Max Christie 53.5 last time by. He and Marco Samet at a 53.6. Still charging towards the front of this field. Give them a half-second advantage from the leaders.
Yeah, and Christie going into turn 1, made the move, stick on Fianchis to move Max Christie another spot up into P4, and he's already onto the bumper of Travis Pettit. How on earth has he found the grip through turn 6? Did you see the braking zone there? He's found so much grip. Pettit knows he has to go on his teammate there. Christie's going to follow him through. Pinch Kai Mars off into the dirt there. Kai Mars going to try to hold around the outside. Can't make it work, and Max Christie now in the P3.
Charging his way forward in the number 139 machine. He is making up spots rapidly. A lot of pace in that platform so far into this race. Just under 7 minutes and 2 laps remaining. Palacio with a slight gap over his competitors, but Max Christie into P3, Alex.
Yeah, but with all this fighting, it is a 6-kart breakaway, but don't count out Tyrone Kemper Jr. and Cameron Marsha loom into the background there. You see the two drivers. They're about to make it an 8-kart train if they keep racing up front.
Can almost get them all in one frame now. They are so close to each other on track. Up front, Lucas Palacio over Travis Pettit, Max Christie, Kai Mars, and Fianchi, your top 5 currently.
Here goes Max Christie to the inside of the Trinity Karting. Travis Pettit driver there. Max Christie up to P2. What a run for the Paralyn driver.
Certainly making moves. Palacio with a several car length advantage thanks to that move. He's going to want to try and push his advantage now to break out of draft range. I'm not sure it's going to happen, though, as the rest of the field is matching him on pace this race. It is a close fight. It will be close all the way to the end of this main event in Mini Swift night fight, Alex.
Here we go, exiting turn 3. Max Christie all over the back of Lucas Palacio. Will he make a move into 4? No, he doesn't. Travis Pettit's going to stay behind Max Christie. These drivers, they all want to win. They all want to lead at this point in the race. But right now, it's Palacio still leading, entering turn 5 and through 6 now. Travis Pettit getting a decent exit there, trying to get to the bumper of Max Christie. Christie not close enough, I don't think, to make a move on Lucas Palacio into turn 8. No, he doesn't. Oh, but Kai Mars into the back of his teammate there, Travis Pettit. Pushed him a little bit wide in turn 8. Now Fianchi to the inside of Kai Mars, move the OTK driver back into P4. And there goes Marco Samet, going to follow him through. So Kai Mars, with the mistake in turn 8, going to go from P4. Oh, holds on against Marco Samet, going to stay in P5.
That contact into turn 8 ended up costing him the spot and a valuable track position in this race as the front group start to split a little bit. Top 4 in the next 4. I'm sure they'll reel back in, but 53.7 last time by for Palacio. He is running quick out front, but fastest kart on track last time by. Cameron Marsha, we're seeing passes on the inside to turn 4, Alex.
Yeah, Tyrone Kemper Jr. and Cameron Marsha last time by, the two fastest karts on the racetrack. They may be running 7th and 8th right now, but here they come. Tyrone Kemper Jr. just passed Marco Samet for P6. Cameron Marsha couldn't follow him through, but Tyrone Kemper Jr., the man on the move.
Certainly they'll be charging towards the front of this field, showing a lot of pace in the mid part of this final for Mini Swift here. Palacio still out front. A little bit of swapping around. Those groups making their way back towards the front of this pack. They round the final corner, head down the front straight under the lights to complete another lap. 4 minutes and 2 laps remaining in this race. Stacked up into turn 1, all 4 nose to tail, Alex.
Yeah, Max Christie, Lucas Palacio, Travis Pettit working very well together. But for how much longer is Christie going to be willing to stay behind Palacio? Because he looks back, he knows Pettit is there, he knows Fianchi is there. He may not know that Tyrone Kemper Jr. and Kai Mars are there because I don't think he can see him when he turns back. But for all he knows, it is a 6, 7, maybe even 8-kart breakaway here in Mini Swift.
Tyrone Kemper and Cameron Marsha going to arrive onto the scene, as well as several more drivers. Ashton Woon making a pass there into turn 8. Almost working his way into the front group, but that was the driver who was in P9. Make it P8 as he gets past Marco Samet for that position. Coming through the final corner of this track, they'll head back down to the front straight. Another lap complete. Still no fighting out front. All the drivers behaving themselves at the front of this field, Alex.
Yeah, the driver we just spoke about, Ashton Loon, purple 53.501. He's P7, but only a second away from the lead group. Anybody can win this race right now if you're in the top 10, going down to Bowen Green, the 124 go-kart. This is a 10-kart breakaway here in Mini Swift. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Palacio still controlling the field from the front, where he is the most comfortable to head towards the infield hairpin. Still all the drivers in one line. A stark difference in the KA Juniors. who were making passes basically as soon as they could get there. These drivers holding their tongues much more, saving their moves, biding their time, waiting for the right opportunity to make it happen, Alex.
Yeah, Palacio still holding on to this lead, but as much as I know Palacio loves leading these type of races, I don't think P1 is the best place to be in right now. With how quick Max Christie, Pettit, and Fianchy have been, and really all the drivers in this group, P1 is not the safest place to be right now.
It's not the safest, but at the same time, it is the front of the field. It's where you want to end the race at. Palacio likes to start the process by leading the entire race. He's led all but one lap here so far as we continue to work towards the infield. A massive group of drivers all on the line here, Alex.
Yeah, let's see if anybody's going to make a move here. Kai Mars, a little chop there for Fianchy. Fianchy late on the brakes, going to cause a bit of mayhem there and collects Kai Mars. Fianchy, a defense turned to offense, spun around there in turn 8. That's going to split this group up quite a bit now. It is a 2-car breakaway here in Mini Swift. That's how fast things can change. There's Ashton Woon now going for a move. That's for P5.
It can all change in the blink of an eye, as you are seeing here. Two drivers we had fighting for the lead earlier in this race, falling to the edge of the top 10. Kai Mars and Fianchy, 9th and 10th. Currently, Palacio and Max Christie running away from the rest of the field. They've got about a second advantage on everyone else. They currently are nose to tail with 1 minute and 2 laps remaining in this main event here. Alex.
We're going to learn about the maturity of these two drivers right now. If they look back, they're going to see that they have nobody behind them. There's no need to race until the white flag at this point in time. There's at least 3 laps to go. 50 seconds plus 2 laps left. They have at least a second advantage over third place driver Travis Pettit. All they need to do right now is work together because Pettit is a lone ranger right now, has no help to the guys behind him. But here comes Ashton Woon in P4.
That fighting continuing to happen throughout the top 10. The top 2 seeming to check themselves out of this fight. But down the front straight, we're seeing down to the inside, drivers making moves happen into turn 1 there. Alex.
I mean, really impressive stuff from Travis Pettit and Ashton Woon, though, by themselves, putting together really solid laps to match the leader's pace last time by. If Palacio and Christie start battling with a few laps to go here, it could get really interesting here. I mean, it was a 10-car train 2 laps ago with the incident there with Fianchy, split up the group, and now it's a 2-car breakaway there between Christie and Palacio. Christie just pushing Palacio around the racetrack, has no intention of making a move right now.
They are working together well. He doesn't dare pass him. He does not want to risk the rest of the drivers catching up and potentially losing a guaranteed top 2 finish. They'll come to 2 to go. This time by, coming up to the final corner, he'll make the move to the inside. He'll go for it. Get crossed over immediately by Palacio.
No, that was Ashton Woon on Pettit. Woon went for the move there for P3. Travis Pettit got him on the crossover there. Ashton Woon saw his chance at a podium there, tried to get it and couldn't make it happen. Palacio defending early with 2 to go here. Christie trying to go around the outside, can't make that stick. They need to be careful with defending this early on in the race because there's still 2 laps to go. That'll bring Pettit and Woon into play if they're not careful.
I called it a lap too early. The fight was bound to break out sometime, and Palacio already taking the initiative, going defensive in 2 corners straight on this lap. Going to retain the advantage on the exit, but every time he does that, he's going to give an advantage to the karts behind him. They still have a healthy gap behind as those drivers continue to fight for the last spot on the podium. Palacio and Christie coming to the white flag this time by. 1 lap to go. Who's going to win it in Mini Swift Fight Night for the first round of the Stars Championship Series, Alex?
Palacio going to lead Max Christie up the hill. He looks back, sees he has a bit of breathing room, but the draft's going to help Christie in a play here down the hill through over to turn 4. Does Palacio defend? No, he doesn't. Christie with a late lunge. What a move from Max Christie. He takes the point in Mini Swift. Palacio down to P2 the first time. Oh, he's going to throw it up the inside of turn 5. You don't see a lot of moves in there. Catches Christie off guard. Palacio back to the lead here through turn 7. Max Christie's going to have to go to the outside here. Crossover move here. Incoming. What do you got, Simon?
And as they come through turn 8, he's going to look for the crossover. Like you said, Christie on the outside. They go side by side in the double right-hander. No holds barred. They have been going at it for the full lap here straight. Palacio with the advantage coming to the last corner. Is there anything Christie can do? He's going to dive down to the bottom. Palacio tries to go defensive. He'll end up crossing him over, and Palacio will take it by a few hundredths of a second. Palacio, your main event winner here in Mini Swift Stars. Alex?
Oh my gosh! I mean, how many exchanges for the lead did we have in those last two corners? It was Christie, then it was Palacio, then it was Christie, then it was Palacio, and ultimately Lucas Palacio wins it by 0.07 of a second. What a race those two put on!
What a finish and what a battle to the end there. Building a gap to the competitors behind and then fighting it out for the entire last lap straight. What a race. Palacio comes home first. Max Christie with an awesome fight comes home P2. Ashton Woon drives it all the way up to P3 for that final spot on the podium, Alex. And Travis Pettit and Cameron Marshall will round out your top 5. Bowen Green, Tyrone Kemper Jr., Marco Samet, Fionn Chi, and Kai Mars are your top 10. Outside that, Thomas Crispin, Jacob Shabel, Holden Harder, and Michael McGoy through 14 spots. William Roberts will round out the top 15 of this Mini Swift Stars final, Alex.
I mean, what a race we just saw there in Mini Swift. It wasn't what we would have expected. You know, we were talking about before the race, would Lucas Palacio get the lead and pull away, or would it be a fight to the end? And it was a fight to the end for sure. Max Christie up 12 spots. Couldn't get the last one he needed, but what a run there for the Paralympic driver.
It couldn't have been a better fight. What more could we have asked for than that fight in the Mini Swift category? Awesome battling all the way through the field, but coming up next could be even crazier. KA Stars when we come back. Stay tuned. We'll bring the action right back to you.
Welcome back for those of you tuning in from live around the world, and for those of you in the paddock, this is the hour you have all been waiting for. 3 back-to-back star-studded headline divisions, beginning with KA Stars for the Stars Championship Series. Night fight, it took qualifying, 4 total heat races, 2 different pre-finals to set the grid for the best 40 to make it here into the main event tonight. We go from the back of the grid. Byron Daly and Kyle Raymond were the final 2 to transfer in out of the pre-final B. Brandon Adkins, Vance Bowersock, Alex Murray, Abby Adams, Lars Wilson, Talon Drake, Mason Surgener, and the pre-final B winner, Colin Hayes. Keep an eye on the 992. He starts 31st. Long way to go forward. Then on up. Drew James and Sam Avrutsky on row 15. Carter Thompson, Sesto, row 14. Gunnar Ray, Logan Mueller, Seamus McKendry, Tommy Annunziata on 23rd. Jake James and Finnegan Bailiff, 22nd and 21st. Then to your top half of the field, you got Garrett Davis and Emery Lyda, Presley Whitney, Adam Brickley, Eli Warren, Ben Lyda, Matt Mockabee, Dominic Tesoro, Aiden Hatcher, James Overbeck, and your final 5 rows at the front of the grid. Lucas Zabo on the outside, Hudson Brown on the inside. Spencer Conrad on the GWR Tony Kart in 8th. To his inside, the BJR MDR LN Kart of Oliver Piatek. Emerson Reed and Mick Gabriel make up row 3. Superstar Max Taylor, double duty tonight here, getting set to go on the BJR MDR entry. To his inside, it's the first of the 3 Kart Republics at the front of the field. Dalton Haynes and a privateer as well, and Aiden Levy on the outside. But it's the Trinity Karting Group entry of Hayden Jones that has the 40-car grid at the helm. They are in the tram lines, inching towards that start box. Let's get this one going, boys and girls. We're racing down to turn number 1, and the inside lane will get a nice jump. Jones the leader, Haynes into second, Levy slots to third. The field cycles there, trying to get down to single file through turn 3. Everybody makes it up the hill. They'll fan out down to turn number 4.
Yeah, what a start from the inside lane there. We saw Dalton Haynes and Mick Gabriel with a great start from up to second and fourth. Mick Gabriel, though, got pushed around a little bit by Oliver Piatek, and I believe Max Taylor. So move Piatek up in the P4 already. What a start from him. Max Taylor a guy on a mission right now, up in the P5 already. McGabriel losing a few spots on the P6.
Side by side further back, Emerson Reed fending off a charge. That looked to be maybe from Lucas Zabo or Hudson Brown. He does successfully, brings one more back with him with Spencer Conrad, who did not get a good jump off the line. It was the 906 indeed of Hudson Brown trying to go by. James Overbeck is there. Down the front stretch here for the lead. Dalton Haynes locked in tow as the 3 KRs try to get away. Oliver Piatek with a phenomenal start on the PJR MDR LN Kart in 4th. And then it's Max Taylor in 5th down the backstretch. New leader, Dalton Haynes wants to go to the front. He'll put the number 900 to the point out of turn 4 with help from Aiden Levy.
Yeah, this is all Dalton Haynes' plan. I was talking to him before the race. He told me, he doesn't feel like his motor's as quick as the guys like Levy, Hayden Jones, and, guys like Max Taylor as well. So his goal, get to the lead and defend for most of the race.
Well, it's going to help now with more battling further back. You can get a bit of a gift and a half if they fight for second and give you a gap. It's hard to run guys down. Oliver Piatek right there, you saw on your screen with the bright neon gloves and a black suit on the blue and white go-kart, took over 3rd in the hairpin. Hayden Jones is going to lose another spot as they swarm the pole sitter. He drops back to 5th behind Max Taylor. He's got Mick Gabriel looking on there in the 6th position through turn number 1. Emerson Reed joked with him before this one that he's probably had some of the worst fire-offs out of everybody in the opening few laps. This start, much better for E-Train. Emerson Reed 7th at the end of the lead group. Little gap back to Spencer Conrad of about half a second, but still one big line of go-karts. Much to be what we expect from this one, probably through the entirety of this main event here at 15 minutes plus 2 laps into turn number 8. New leader again. Aiden Levy now will take over the charge. And for the first time, the blue and yellow Alonso kart gets it for about 500 feet as Dalton Haynes goes back. Oliver Piatek will go. Here comes Max Taylor. The rookies are hungry, and they are going to freight train Levy. And now Taylor's going to go through to 2nd. Jones into 3rd, but he'll go a little wide. They're 3 wide down the front straightaway.
Wow, incredible racing here for the KA Stars class. Aiden Levy went from being P1. Dalton Haynes threw a late move him in the double right-hander, and now Levy down in the P5 and having to hold off Mick Gabriel now. Mick Gabriel's defending pretty hard there on Spencer Carter and Emerson Reed, who, like you said, first time all weekend we've seen him actually make forward progress at the start and not go backwards.
Yeah, Emerson Reed looking good here as he's closed up in that group. But now Mick Gabriel now leads the pack in 6th. Spencer Conrad is 7th, changing the lead. The top 3 were starting to get away. This will bring them back together as Max Taylor, for the first time tonight, shows the way aboard the BJR MDR Red Speed out of turn number 9. Oliver Piatek following him through. Piatek, last year, it felt like every weekend was the weekend before he broke out onto the scene, where he'd run up front and he'd have a mechanical failure. He'd run up front and have a crash. Now he's running up front in the KA Stars division. Granted, just lost 2nd in turn 1, but he's looking phenomenal down the back straightaway.
Yeah, the rookies are looking real good right now. Max Taylor and Piatek. Piatek having to defend from Levy, couldn't make it work, so Levy up to P3. Hayden Jones now, 2 veterans surrounding Oliver Piatek there, the rookie. Piatek's having to fight off now Hayden Jones in the Trinity Karting Group. All this plays in the Max Taylor's favor. Max Taylor been super impressive in both classes. Super late move now from there for Levy and Jones, the 2 KR guys making a move for 2nd and 4th.
Yeah, side by side there for P2 and P4, as you mentioned, Alex. They'll come out of turn 9. It's going to give Max Taylor the biggest lead we've seen all day. Max Taylor up the hill, back to Levy. It's about 4 car lengths. 11 minutes plus 2 laps. Lots of time left in this one, and they're just starting to get a little bit of comfort in their go-karts as we're now 5 laps into this thing. The tire pressure starting to come in where they want it to be. Your top 10 as they run has, of course, the top 5 in that group. Mick Gabriel leads the 2nd group, and they're side-by-side further back. Emerson Reed fending off a charge there from James Overbeck at the edge of the top 10. Hudson Brown just ahead there in 10th, and then 11th. What a start for Thomas Annunziata. He is up 12 spots already from 23rd on the grid, and he's looking for more as they close up into turn number 8. However, if the leaders stay single file, that 2nd pack will fall further away. This lap's going to be a burner for Max Taylor and company. Spencer Conrad going by for 6th now, gets the helm of it again. Reed back in the 8th spot, Gabriel in 7th as they go down the front straightaway. Let's see any big moves out of the lead pack. Nothing there to turn number 1.
Yeah, Oliver Piatek goes purple. Pretty much expected at that point, being the last guy in a 5-kart train. Gets a tow from all 4 of these guys. There goes Levy to the inside of Max Taylor. He's going to go to the point. Dalton tried to follow through, couldn't make it work. New leader, Aiden Levy.
Aiden Levy looking solid here and sporty early on in this main event. He's been shuffled back about 2 times so far. He's gotten back to the lead both times. Hayden Jones, on the other hand, has only been able to get back to maybe second or third. Taylor right back on Levy. Everybody shuffling with each other at the moment. As Oliver Piatek, that was a slick crossover out of turn 8. He picked up 2 spots.
Yeah, it was a buy one, get one there in turn 8. Oliver Piatek took advantage of a late move from Dalton Haynes who couldn't make it work on Hayden Jones. Piatek now back into P3. It's a rookie 1 and 3 here in KA Stars.
Down to turn 1 now, 9 minutes plus 2 laps remaining. Here's the group further back. Conrad, Reed, Overbeck, and Unziata's gotten all the way into the top 10. He's up to 9th, getting by Mick Gabriel as they pass for 3rd. Haynes on Piatek. He'll bring Hayden Jones with him. And the KRs go back to 2, 3, and 4. Levy still on the bumper of Max Taylor for the race lead through the infield.
Yeah, Levy and Max Taylor pulling away just a little bit from this group behind them. But Levy is going to help them get back into a 5-car train to make a move to Max Taylor. That's going to bunch these guys back up. There goes Dalton Haynes, bringing the Kart Republic of Hayden Jones and the OTK of Oliver Piatek back in the mix. Further back, though, Spencer Conrad is bringing Emerson Reed on board this train now. We're about to have a 7-cart, maybe even an 8-cart mix here in KA Stars.
Down the front straightaway they go this time. Levy, Taylor, Haynes, Jones, and Piatek. Now that the group of 3 that has left Mick Gabriel and Thomas Annunziata behind are the quickest 3 on the circuit. Conrad, Reed, and Overbeck. They're 6th, 7th, and 8th you can see coming into frame. Then a little bit of a big off there further back. Hudson Brown way wide out of turn number 3. And you can see the battles go all the way through this 40-cart grid through the bowl. Back up front.
Yeah, with Hudson Brown going off there, that's going to put a lot of dirt on the racetrack. We saw what happened in the KA Junior LCQ. We'll see if it happens again here in this feature race. Back up front, though, Aiden Levy holding off Max Taylor right now. Dalton Haynes on the bumper of Max Taylor now. He's been aggressive all race long. Let's see if Dalton Haynes goes for a move here. He does, and he's going to hold station in P3.
Yeah, he stays in line. Back for 7th. Emerson Reed had to fend off a charge from James Overbeck that lap, so he couldn't do too much in terms of making headway. Spencer Conrad's gotten further away. Reed's just trying to hang on for dear life because Overbeck has kind of rustled him a little bit right now. Down the backstretch, he's probably going to go here into turn number 4. Back for 6th as we see a change for 2nd. Taylor falls back. Big crash further back in turn 1 off screen, but the leaders are good. It's going to collect a couple. The 904 is involved. That is, or maybe the 924. There might have been Sam Mavrutsky involved. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been the 924. Nonetheless, the leaders headed through turn number 9. Levy, over Haynes, Jones, Taylor back to 4th, and it's a KR 1, 2, 3, OTK 4, 5, 6. And Unziata now has gone all the way up, looks like to 7th, as he's gotten around Emerson Reed and James Overbeck there. His charge forward is not done. What a return to the seat for Thomas Annunziata on that black and blue Team Ferris Racing Kart Republic. Him and Emerson Reed have gotten free of the chaos. They've shuffled Overbeck into it with Gabriel, and they might be able to join the party up in the lead group with 6 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and Annunziata has been feeling really confident all weekend long. You know, he showed up, wasn't really as fast as he would have liked to. He told me it was mainly just him. He had to get, the cobwebs off, a little rusty after 2 years away from the seat. He's fixed the mistakes. You see Max Taylor making a move on Dalton Haynes there, up to P3. It's no longer a KR 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 4 now. Max Taylor joining another group.
Yeah, the Battle of the Brands has been the story of the KA Stars class. OTK versus Kart Republic, and it's an almost even spread down the top 10 between them all. Through the final turn and down the front stretch now, we're past the halfway marker. 11 laps completed. Probably going to go to about maybe 18 or 19. Up the hill, Spencer Conrad has been trying to get to this lead group for the last couple laps. He's finally on the cusp of it. Thomas Annunziata that time did pick up a 1/10 of a second along with Emerson Reed on your leaders. They need a little more shuffling up front to join the party though in 7th and 8th, but it's a 6-car lead pack through turn 6 and 7. 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go now into turn 8. Any moves here? Nothing yet. Levy remains the leader. Talked with Aiden Levy's dad a little bit before this one. He said, as much as we're going for that Stars Championship Night Fight honor, we've been trying a lot of different setups, kind of trading details between the Kart Republic chassis drivers, between himself, Hayden Jones, and Dalton Haynes, learning for the big events coming down to town as well. The IAME USA Grand National Championship in July under the lights. The U.S. Pro Kart Series finale here, where they'll be looking to clinch a national title versus start one like this series here that kicks off in North Carolina. Down the backstretch now, Jones going to go back on his fellow chassis teammate, and he'll bring Taylor with him. Hayden Jones back to the lead.
Yeah, Hayden Jones trying to do what he did last year and win KA Stars. What Max Taylor's going to have something to say about that. He's been the standout rookie today. Max Taylor to the inside. He's looking for the lead. He's got the lead in turn 8. Move the OTK driver. Max Taylor to the point there. Hayden Jones going to slide in the P2, but what a outstanding performance we've seen from Max Taylor all weekend long in both classes.
Out of turn 9, they're all packed up tight there in the top 6. The next group is getting reeled back in by Gabriel and Overbeck. They may battle, so it may just be these 6 up here. 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go down to turn number 1 as they head through the banking there, and they'll climb the hill to turn 3. Where's your lap times going to fall? Well, Annunziata did a 50.5. The leaders a 50.5 as well. No big change on the margin. It's still about a second and a half as another battle for the lead. They bang tires. Smoke coming off the side pods of Taylor versus Jones. The rookie keeping his elbows out to fend off the veteran Hayden Jones, and he does successfully for now. Headed into the hairpin here. I think Jones wants to go. Taylor knows it's coming. Little love tap into the hairpin. No changes there. Piatek with a crossover on Conrad, though. He will not get clear. Conrad will hold that spot through 9. And look at this move from Jones, and over under where it didn't even look set up or possible. Hayden Jones to the lead. Levy to second. Haynes coming through for third.
Yeah, all this racing, though, is going to bring Annunziata and Emerson Reed and Mick Gabriel to the front group. Dalton Haynes going to get super close there, rubbing tires with Max Taylor. Oh, so close there for P3, but here comes the rest of the posse. It is an 8-car breakaway here. Aiden Levy to the point now.
Levy leads them through turn 4. Gabriel's arrived. Overbeck side by side with Gabriel. Oliver Piatek shuffle to the wayside. Tommy Annunziata, welcome to the party. Top 6 from 23rd on the black and blue machine. Spencer Conrad right at the edge there in the top 5. Piatek under heavy fire from further back there. The entire top 10 are all in this lead train through turn number 9. This is incredible. And as always, when it gets this big, you just hope you kind of wince for a moment. When does the mistake happen and who makes it? Piatek might be in that driver's seat right now. He's defending hard from Mick Gabriel back for the 6th spot. As they go to 1, Gabriel stuffs it down the inside. That'll split the packs up again. He brings Overbeck with him, and it'll allow the top 6 to break away. Levy, Jones, Taylor, Haynes, Conrad, and Annunziata.
Yeah, you can almost catch your breath for a little bit there. Like you said, makes you wince a little bit when it gets like that many cars in one train. It's spread out a little bit there with Mick Gabriel and Overbeck fighting. It is now a 3-car breakaway out front. Hayden Jones looks to the inside in turn 8, makes the stick on Aiden Levy. It's a KR1-2, but now it's Hayden Jones to the lead. Max Taylor's going to stay in P3.
Through turn number 9, Dalton Haynes and Spencer Conrad now onto the bumper as they come out of the double right. This is where you've got to really start going. The drivers know the time. Levy goes back to the point at 11. Taylor will follow. He's side by side with Jones. The train will line up on the inside. Jones is going to have to fight hard. He's got Haynes coming. He'll let him go. Conrad trying to go. Can't do it. Annunziata. Sparks coming out as he hopped the curbing coming out of 2 and 3. Mick Gabriel, the top qualifier, is on the charge at the end of the screen trying to arrive in the 7th spot with Overbeck in tow. Emerson Reed, the next car back, about a half second away. A minute and some change left in this one. This time by, they'll hit the 3-lap to go signal. They've all been able to watch the clock every time they hit the start-finish line. The drivers know where they are. It is go time. This is crunch time for KA Stars, and Aiden Levy leads the way out of turn number 9. It would be national win number 3 on the year as they had one part look like it might have been a battery, just flew off the side of one of the go-karts there.
Yeah, Aiden Levy leading Max Taylor. They have a bit of breathing room there to P3, Dalton Haynes and Hayden Jones. But look who's joined the mix here. Mick Gabriel and James Overbeck has worked their way back up to the lead pack here. Has caught Annunziata and Spencer Conrad. Mick Gabriel peeks and nose, can't make a stick in turn 4. But he stays behind Annunziata for another lap.
Unable to get there for Gabriel. He signals back there, as you saw at the end of that shot, to Overbeck to work together. Max Taylor right now trying to push away with Aiden Levy. Let's see when he goes. He says keep going forward. Levy's going to start defending. That'll back them up. I don't think Taylor wants to race with more as there's contact further back. Annunziata and Mick Gabriel get stuck together, and Gabriel's hopes go out the window. Annunziata was up 20 from 23rd. Back for the lead, Taylor to the point with 2 laps to go, but Mick Gabriel, Tommy Annunziata out of this one, down to 1. Taylor, this is when you start to white line it. How good can Max Taylor hold off 3 drivers who have more laps around this racetrack than he has in a go-kart in his entire career. Into turn number 4. It's 3 North Carolina natives. Aiden Levy, Dalton Haynes, Hayden Jones, all on the tail, all with plenty of seasons now in the senior ranks against the rookie Max Taylor, who shows the way in that red and black red speed for the BJR MDR camp. Into turn 8. Crossover from Jones. Not enough. A lap and a half remaining to turn number 9.
Yeah, welcome to senior racing. Max Taylor holding off 3 Car Republic drivers. And like you said, Max Taylor, his first race as senior. These 3 guys behind him live at this area. They have so many laps around this racetrack. They have these carts dialed in like crazy. Max Taylor so far holding up Aiden Levy. White flag in the air. Turn 1, Taylor holds on.
Up the hill to turn 3. Levy looks low. Taylor blocks. Here comes a crossover. Levy's got a nose underneath. He'll take the lead back to turn 4. Taylor's trying to run him tight on the outside. Here comes Dalton Haynes for second. Taylor almost had it. Just kind of got crossed up a little bit through turn 3. And now Aiden Levy is in the same spot he was in the pre-final. Spencer Conrad joins the fray. But Levy, a big gap back to Haynes. He blocks low anyway. Haynes gets the bump and run from Taylor. Haynes tries to keep the momentum up. Levy's got a big gap. Jones to the outside for third. Dalton Haynes, one more Hail Mary if he can get there as they fight for third. Up the hill, final time, not close enough. Aiden Levy out of the final corner is going to win the Stars Championship Night Fight in KA Stars. National win number 3 for Aiden Levy on the year and on the career. What a performance in that main event. Dalton Haynes second. Max Taylor survives the onslaught for third. Unfortunately there he leads a number of laps, including the last one, but not the run to the checkered flag. Matthew Mockabee out of nowhere claws his way from way back, and he gets a top 5 as he steals one from Spencer Conrad coming to the line. Adam Brickley from way back as well gets to 7th. Emerson Reed 8th. Finnegan Bailiff from deep gets up to 9th. Lots of big movers there. Brickley up 11, Bailiff up 12, Mockabee up 8 there in your top 10. How about local hero Aiden Hatcher, who spent a lot of the last couple years tuning on the national scene to get up enough money to be able to race at this level. Piatek falls back to 11, Overbeck 13th there as he had to avoid the incident with Annunziata and Mick Gabriel. Both of them fall all the way down the order, and for Tommy Annunziata, it was a long drive forward to get there. He just comes up shy. But my goodness, what a barn burner in KA Stars. You go down to the rest of the results there. Alex Murray, Presley Whitney, Lars Wilson, especially for Wilson and Murray and Seamus McKendry coming from the back of the grid, making up a handful of spots there. Wilson up 10 after transferring through the last chance qualifier, that B pre-final. Abby Adams up 6. Gabriel gets 38. Avrutsky was indeed the driver out in turn number 1 with that heavy impact. He was okay. Surprisingly enough, only one failing to finish in that KA Stars final. The clear visors are on, and the game faces are as well for Pro Stars. There is your reigning Rock Stars champion and your number 3 plate holder in the Pro Stars class, Josh Conker. On the Carblos Racing Team, Marinello getting set to go. The Canadian has a nice starting spot after carving his way up the grid in the pre-final, but everyone is chasing the driver to his right. Talon Yockel, the number 2 plate for the Magic Kart USA Factory Boys. He has been phenomenal all weekend long, and he is looking to get himself, for the 2nd year in a row, a win on home turf here in Mooresville, North Carolina. A cool father-son duo. His father, Marty, here with him at the racetrack, and they are ready to fire off from the starting grid. Let's take you to the rest of your lineup coming your way here for Pro Rock Stars. Of course, that's your front row. Colin Daly, the Jamaican aboard the DR North America factory operation, was Mr. Excitement in that pre-final. Some crazy dives, some great drives through the grid. He ends up 3rd after the dust settles in it all, with a lot of speed and a lot of pressure now to add to the rear bumper of Talon Yockel. Andy Rule rolled off 2nd in that pre-final, had a decent run, but started to fade about midway through. The 204, the young lady, rolls off in 4th. There's a great look on the grid back to Justin White on the Magic Kart. The 232 machine has been kind of a quiet contender here. On the outside looking in, a dark horse, if you will, from the third row to challenge for a podium and a win here tonight as he gets some more seat time in the gearbox action classes. Again, he rolls off on row 3 on the clean side of the racetrack on the outside there, and 6 to his inside. It will be that Trinity Karting Group Kart Republic of Gavin Bailiff, who had a chain failure in heat number 2 yesterday, was following Josh Conker and Colin Daly up the grid with a great drive forward to end in that 5th position by the end of the pre-final. Row 4, you've got your reigning series champion, Vincenzo Saraceno. We heard from him there. Bit of fuel leaking for him in that pre-final. He's teammates this year on the Carblos Racing Team Maranello tent with Josh Conker. He'll roll off in 7th. Jake Donald on the Kart Republic entry rolls back in the 8th position. Ian Quinn, that QG3 Racing Charles Leclerc kart, rolls off down the order in the 9th spot. He was the master of the start in the pre-final and then just kind of went backwards. He's looking for a little more speed under the lights here. The bright lights at Trackhouse Motorplex have him on the inside of row 5. They have Jason Enrique on the GSC to his outside, the Rivera Racing entry. Row number 6, the Georgia boy Zach Frank and the Eyes Up Racing Beer Alert will roll off in 11th. To his outside will be David Carmody in the 222. Then back to row 7, rookie Jonathan Ocasio in 13th overall. Robbie Campbell on the Carblos Racing Team Maranello in 14th. Then you got Safik Hodek the 3rd there in 15th. Corey Milne in 16th. Michael Riccio 17th. And Tegan Poles in 18th. Sticker MG tires here, Simon. We've heard it from the drivers all weekend long. It is so critical to warm those babies up here, especially as the temperatures drop and we go night racing because the track temperature is dropping 30, 40 degrees. You're seeing all kinds of different techniques to warm the tires.
Temperatures certainly come off here at night, Xander. It is dark. It is getting colder. It's going to take a lot longer to get heat into those tires. The drivers aggressively scrubbing and using the brakes to generate some heat through those rotors, try and build some temp so they can fire off fast here on the first lap.
Well, let's see. Can we get a good start on the first try? There is your Stars Championship Series officials lining them in the boxes. Everyone's got to keep them fired up here so we can get a good launch. It is the greatest spectacle in all of karting, a gearbox start. And for the final time in the Stars Championship Series night fight, we're going to see one. Problems at the back here. We're going to see if we fire one off. That is the final starter, Tegan Poles, with an issue. And that will wave off attempt number 1. The final starter on the grid stalls it. She's already at the tail, so it won't change anything for Tegan Poles in the Magic Kart. But talk to us a little bit about the different kinds of techniques you can do to kind of build tire temperature, Simon. It's the same from any kind of motor vehicle. You do a couple of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you'll see coming down the back straight here, you see a lot of scrubbing, weaving in and out, trying to build some lateral grip. Use that lateral grip to build some temperature into your tires by just aggressively scrubbing them off across the track, generating some friction, and also they'll be really aggressive on the brakes. In these gearbox classes, they have both rear and front brakes like we've mentioned earlier. So generating tire temperature through brake temperature is a key factor in these gearbox classes. With the front tires, you can generate some temperature if you're aggressive on those brakes and can build some heat quick on these outlaps.
So that's what they'll be doing here. And then one final time there, you can see they're just trying to keep the carburetors clean by giving one quick pump of the gas to rev it back up before they sit for a handful of seconds there, especially that front row. They've got to wait the longest and hopefully not flood it as they get set to go or overheat the clutch as well. We've seen that multiple times on these shifter starts when they have to wait too long on the front row. Looks like this time everyone's pretty good. So far, so good in the final couple rows. Can everybody line up nicely? Tegan Poles the last one. It looks good. The signal's given from the back of the grid. We go to the lights for the final time this weekend. The Stars Championship Series night fight. Pro Stars, to the red lights we go. And who gets the whole shot off the line? Give it to Josh Conker and almost give it to Colin Daly. But everybody almost a false start as they were waiting, and the lights stayed on, I think, a little longer than most anticipated. Talon Yockel gets the lead. Conker second, Daly third, Rule fourth. Gavin Bailiff into fifth, and Talon Yockel already defending low. He said, oh, big contact. Ian Quinn absolutely pile drives the outside wall with that QG3 Charles Leclerc kart with one more involved through turn number 4.
Wow, what a big impact there to go all the way through the barrier. Out front, nose to tail for the top two. A big move to the inside there. Move. Is that Josh Conker up to the front?
Josh Conker on that Carblos Racing Team Maranello. Quick to get around Talon Yockel. He saw the gaps. Yockel's been able to pull on everybody all weekend. He wants the lead. Yockel wants it back. He'll take it back. Turn one, Talon Yockel back to the point, and they're stacked and packed as they climb the hill. Gavin Bailiff trying to get on Andy Rule for fourth. Can't do it. Here comes Vincenzo Saraceno as well. Yockel to the low side of block. Colin Daly just hammered the inside curbing, and he nearly rode over the rear bumper of Josh Conker for second.
Intense fighting so far in this opening few laps of your Pro Stars here. Low line defending into the hairpin for Talon Yockel. Josh Conker will follow that up. Can we talk about Colin Daly's start? What a launch from the second row, almost splitting the front row to get to the turn one as quick as possible, but he'll settle into P3 here right behind Josh Conker as they cross the line with 13.5 minutes plus 2 laps remaining. Talon Yockel, you're a leader at this time.
When Colin Daly's been fast this weekend, he's looked like a misguided nuclear missile. Super quick, super confident on the brakes, and he's given us a lot to talk about, from an unfortunate, terrible crash in the opening heat race to some great sends in Heat 2 and the pre-final. As they roll the infield again, now they're going to spread out a little bit, and as the tires begin to build some temperature, Talon Yockel can slowly open up his entry as that gap opens to about a car length and a half back to Josh Conker. Conker and Daly have been the closest to him on speed. It's taken us all the way back to Saturday night now from qualifying to get them back to his bumper for one issue or another. We haven't seen the fastest on the racetrack really get after it to be able to throw haymakers at each other. Andy Rule back there in fourth. You can see further back problems for Gavin Bailiff. He started fifth. He has been shuffled down to seventh. Saraceno now holds the fifth spot. Justin White is up to sixth. Gavin Bailiff down to seventh. Eighth, Enrique. Ninth, Donald. 10th, David Carmody with a good start to round off the top 10. But evening out now for the top three as they go into the infield hairpin. And this is when, on brand new MG Yellows, they're going to try and manage the race a little bit. Try and keep things under control. Not overcook their equipment. At the same time, keep the drivers in front of them within striking distance and hopefully apply pressure to try and force a mistake, which is so much more common when you're making 40, 50, 60 shifts per lap.
Coming across the line this time through turn one. Now that we're a couple laps in, those tire temps starting to come up. We'll start to see the field come up to their true pace. A 46.0 last time by for Talon Yockel leading the field. It's going to be a little bit harder to pass when everyone's got their temperatures up. You always see that little bit of chaos on the opening laps when everyone's got cold tires, wants to go for big moves. But the top three here still nose to tail. A little issue there for Josh Conker. Puts Colin Daly right on his back bumper. He'll dive to the inside, move Colin Daly up to P2.
And Conker tries to cross him over and drag race him into 9. This will cost them a lot of time. Yockel's going to get away, but it doesn't matter. Colin Daly completes the pass off that one mistake Josh Conker made. The first one, right as we talked about it. He popped the curb in 6th. Now Daly blocking. Conker back on him down the inside. Here comes Annie Rule trying to follow. She will through turn 1.
And Annie Rule up to P3. What a great start for her. Moving her way into the podium positions. Awesome fighting to open this race here. Josh Conker with a great move there. Now we see 2nd through about 7th, all in a tight line. And in these gearbox classes, that's rarer to find. It's harder to stay close to each other. So some great action to start us off here, Xander.
Here they go to the infield hairpin. Let's see if Colin Daly tries to send on Rule. He thought about it there. A little wiggle in the braking zone. Just wasn't close enough, but you know he'll be itching to get back around the 204. Annie Rule looking for her first Pro Stars podium in a little bit of time. She won a heat race back in 2022 for King of the Castle. She's been fast here this weekend in terms of top 5 or top 10, but she's not exactly had the level that the top 3 guys have had so far, and really make it 4 because Vincenzo Saraceno holds the fastest lap, is on Daly's bumper, and is looking to say, hey, Colin, if you can't get it done, I will. Well, now he's going to try it. Turn 4, inside. Colin Daly back to 3rd, and Saraceno, Justin White, Gavin Bailiff are all right there on Rule as well, ready to challenge.
The Sharks are waiting in the water. A lot of fast drivers here. Annie trying to hold off Vincenzo. Vincenzo diving to the bottom of the track, inside hairpin. Big contact. Annie Rule gets clipped around.
Justin White's involved. Gavin Bailiff popped the left rear tire over the front of Justin White. The accordion effect of them all together. White is able to keep going with some damage to that Magic Kart, and Annie Rule, just like that, from 3rd, is out in turn 8.
What a tough break for Annie. She was running incredibly well, making great moves at the start of this opening few laps in the main event of the Pro Stars final. So really, really tough break for Andy Rule in the number 204 Magic Kart machine.
That changes your entire top 10. Saraceno is fourth now with a gap out back and out front. Bailiff somehow survived it all. We'll see if he bent the axle. He's in fifth. Back in sixth is Enrique. Seventh is Jake Donald. And don't look now, folks. It's not, or don't look away now. It's not over yet. Josh Conker set the fastest lap for himself last time by. He was 1/10 better than Talon Yockel. There is still 9 minutes plus 2 laps to go, so we might just have a run on our hands here for the race lead. That time Yockel opens it back up. Conker second, Daly third, trying to hunt him down. That group we were following for a moment was Enrique versus Jake Donald for sixth. Let's go side by side for a little bit of interview action here as the Pro Stars finally get a little bit of separation and we get time to catch our breath. Alex?
Yeah, thanks, Enter. Here with your winner in KA Stars, Aiden Levy. Aiden, your third national victory of the year. How does this feel?
It feels great. It feels like I'm on top of the world right now. I'm just so thrilled for all the support and everything. I feel amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, talk to us about that race. It wasn't an easy race for you, you know? Started on the pole there, fell back a little bit, fell back to even fifth or sixth at one point, worked way back to the point. How'd that race go? And talk to me about it.
Yeah, so everyone was definitely being really aggressive out there, and I knew I just had to play the cards really smart, don't do anything stupid, because I knew it was a long race and everyone was going to fight up front, so I was just being really smart.
Awesome, man. One more thing. Who do you want to thank for this victory?
I have to thank my parents for all the support. BBS Racing Engines for the mega power, Danny May and Mike for all the support, and my mechanic, Eric Jones, Kart Sport North America, and Martin Pierce Racing for having the Kart Republic hooked up.
All right, thanks, Aiden. Good job.
Thank you.
That's about as excited as I think I've ever seen Aiden Levy, and he deserves it. That was a dogfight start to finish in KA Stars. We got another one on our hands forming up here for second, while Josh Conker has unfortunately stalled out in his progress towards the race leader, Talon Yockel. Colin Daly has not. The flying Jamaican is closing in on the Canadian Josh Conker as we've now got a 3/10 deficit that lap alone in the favor of Colin Daly. He reset fast time of the race, 45.8 to a 46.1 with 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. We are about to have a fight on our hands here for second, and don't look now as well, Simon, but just lurking in the distance as he has been all weekend long, that number 1 plate, that reigning series champ Vincenzo Saraceno. He just finds a way to stay in the picture.
New teammates to Josh Conker this week, and Vincenzo Saraceno making his first start on that Maranello chassis. Doing well so far, up into 4th place, hunting down both second and third of Josh Conker and Colin Daly. He's making his moves quietly. Colin Daly is not doing as such. He is making big moves, closing in on Josh Conker through the hairpin. Only a kart length separates them now, Xander.
They've already traded blows a couple of times. They know a little bit of what to expect from each other. Daly here setting him up, priming him up. He knows this might be the only spot he gets outside of a big bobble or a mechanical failure from Talon Yockel. It might just be the fight for second, but that is still valuable championship points and a big trophy for the DR North America boys to bring home if he can get a P2 here in this one. A big confidence boost. That time by, they both lost a little bit to Yockel, but they still closed together. A 46.1 for Conker, an O for Daly, and a 45.9 for Talon Yockel, and a 45.99 for Vincenzo Saraceno. So Daly, a car length back into the hairpin, just not close enough for a deep dive. Still not really able to time that running, and that's what we talked about all race long. That's the tricky part, trying to make sure that you're able to get the launch out of the corner while at the same time backing up the turn, so that way you can get on the power at the same time the guy in front of you does. You don't have that rolling through the corner. You barrel it in deep with those front brakes. You downshift with the lever behind the steering wheel, point the kart in a split second, and then you're back on the gas. It's so tough to stay close together.
It absolutely is, and you saw him come up through the hill through turn 3 there. Colin Daly getting even closer to the back bumper of Josh Conker. Actually, that turn 3, the air wash through there, depends on whether or not you're going to make a pass in the hairpin here later in the lap. If you can get close enough out of 3, then you can make that run, but we've seen a lot of struggles of drivers getting to the rear bumper, but not able to make a move. Will we see the same with Colin Daly, Xander?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think he's kind of stalled out right now, right? I mean, that's what you're exactly on point, Simon. He's running in that dirty air just a little bit. It's just a touch, folks. It's not nearly to the degree of any of the wings and open wheel racing that you see on TV, but it's just a little bit, and it's specifically right here because this corner, it's full throttle in every class except for Pro Stars, the shifters. It's just a light breathe of the gas through the corner, and you're going so much speed, you're putting so much load through the car that it really uses every ounce that it has at its disposal, every tool in its toolbox to carry more speed through that turn. The bodywork does factor in just a smidge, having that air hitting the nose cone. Meanwhile, though, as they exit 8, not much dirty air there. You can get a good launch. We saw Daly there stuff into the inside into 9 multiple times this weekend. He's just not getting the bottom end drive out of the corner that Conker is, or at least he's getting an even one. He's not getting something better than him. Down the front stretch now, back to a car length away, and again, stalling out behind. Had he gotten clear, he might have had the speed to run down Talon Yockel, but it's a woulda, coulda, shoulda debate because it's a 2.5 second lead for the North Carolina local. As Vincenzo Saraceno is loving the two running together, he's now closing in there in the 4th spot. So through 5, 6, and 7 we go, and 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right together. This might be it though. Daly's on the bumper. Here he goes. Looking inside, and he tapped the rear of Conker. Conker moved low to block right as Daly went by, and a bump and run for Colin Daly.
Wow, what a recovery from Josh Conker to be able to hang on to that one. He was headed to the other side of the track, managed to get it slowed down in time even after that contact, and only lost the 1 spot out of it. So he'll reset and prepare to go back after Colin Daly here again.
Hard racing there, and now we'll see how good Josh Conker can do running from behind. He's got his teammate Saraceno bearing down for the podium. 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Everything you got left in the tank here, boys. And right now, Colin Daly is starting to drive away into what would have been a sunset, but we're too deep into the night for that. The gap is 5 car lengths and growing back to Josh Conker.
And all this, not to forget, Talon Yockel still 3.5 seconds out to the front. Absolutely dominating this field right now, out for a Sunday drive in the nighttime as we watch 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all making their way through the final couple corners of this track. Vincenzo Saraceno closing in on his teammate there, Josh Conker, in P3.
Down the front straightaway we go here. Josh Conker under fire from Saraceno now. He may be able to make one back charge towards Colin Daly, but he needs a better lap than what he just put together. That time he gave up 0.2 of a second to Daly. Saraceno a car length back still. Further back down the grid, no major changes in your top 10. It is still Gavin Bailiff in the 5th spot. He's got Jason Enrique kind of hunting him down a little bit, but he's still a little ways away. Donald in 7th, Carmody 8th, Jonathan Ocasio 9th, and Michael Riccio in the 10th spot. Ocasio and Riccio in a close battle of their own for that subcategory Rock Stars class. But in the Pro Stars division, it's been all the number 2, Talon Yockel, leading the way. 1 minute plus 2 laps to go. We're looking at 4 to go right now here for the field. It'll be a 22-lap feature, and it's a 3.7 margin for the lead. Let's look at the times again here. Yockel, a 45.98. He adds 0.2 onto the gap that time. One thing more important, though, back for 2nd and 3rd. Well, Josh Conker started to make some headway back towards Colin Daly. 0.5 tenth better for the Canuck.
Yeah, he's definitely making inroads back. He stretched the gap to Saraceno just a bit that lap by about 0.2, so about even gaps between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. Colin Daly still out front ahead of Josh Conker. Talon Yockel still cruising around. I think he's crossed the line, so we'll be at 3 laps to go this time by, with Talon Yockel leading the way, with Colin Daly, Josh Conker, Vincenzo Saraceno, and Gavin Bailiff rounding out your top 5.
Down the backstretch here now. Again, 2.5 laps remaining. Josh Conker that time again, he pulled a 0.5 tenth a lap before. He lost a 0.5 tenth that time by. I don't think he'll be able to do anything at this point. Saraceno, for a while, it looked like he was tracking them down as Conker hangs the right rear off the edge of the racetrack through turn number 6. But he won't have anything for him either. This might be about as they finish here in Pro Stars. Talon Yockel, what a phenomenal day so far as they spread apart for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. He'll round the final turn. Down the front stretch, 2 laps to go as the timer hits 0. Talon Yockel unbelievable here. It's one thing to go out and dominate on your home track. It's another to take the pressure of doing it the year before and put yourself in a position to back it up. And he has not only backed it up, he has dominated this weekend in Pro Stars here, Simon. 4 seconds and counting for the margin back to the rest of the field.
Unstoppable this weekend. The man on a mission, the number 224, Talon Yockel, dominant through this weekend so far. We're into the nighttime here, the main event, and he has a 4-second margin to his competitors.
Unbelievable stuff here for Talon Yockel, his father Marty, the father-son duo onto the Magic Kart USA squad. Coach A.J. Myers helped him get closer and closer to that lead pack on the rest of the Pro National circuit. Last weekend had one of his best runs thus far in Houston, Texas. And then he rolls straight from there back to home turf, where he's got so many laps around this racetrack. He's spent half, if not more, of his total karting career here. I talked with his dad earlier. They were getting to run some laps earlier yesterday through practice and chat with IndyCar champion and Indy 500 champion Will Power, and he was impressed. And that right there, he said, that put Callan's confidence at a new level. And out of turn number 9, well, he's going to need to maybe get a little bigger helmet. Up the hill, Talon Yockel defends the night fight. He wins in 2023. Unbelievable stuff from Talon Yockel as the double checkers fly. Colin Daly second, Josh Conker in third. The reigning champ, Vincenzo Saraceno, begins his defense on the number 1 plate with a 4th place result. A consistent weekend through all the problems and chaos around him. He'll come out still not leading the title fight, but in a very good position to battle across the line. Great fight there. That was for the win in the Rockstars class. Michael Riccio puts one over on Jonathan Ocasio to get the subcategory win. But Talon Yockel, we've seen it everywhere else. Are we going to see some donuts here tonight out of the Magic Kart driver? Well, he's fired up. I know it's a low-budget operation, race to race as quick as they can go. I think he's going to bring it on into the scale line here this time. But hey, the celebration, you can bet, will definitely be going for Yockel. What a performance. 4.5 seconds back to Colin Daly, who comes up second, conquers Saraceno and Bailiff, and on to the rest of the field. Heartbreak for Annie Rule and Justin White in that incident about early on towards the midway point here in this feature, collected in that crash over in turn number 8. Let's go down to pit lane for some more intel in the finishing results from that KA Stars main event. Alexander Searle, take it away.
Thanks, and here with Dalton Haynes. Dalton, what a performance you put on there. You told me before the race, you didn't feel as though your motor was, comparable to the guys around you. You felt like maybe you had a 10th place motor, but you felt like your kart was incredibly quick. Finished P2. Talk to me about your race.
Yeah, my brother put a great setup on the kart. I felt pretty good, pretty confident starting third. I did all I could through the heat races. Qualified second, came second in the first heat, came first in the second heat, got a penalty, started 6th in the pre-final, got up to 3rd in the pre-final, and then so I did the best I could. And during that race, that race was scary, man. It was very tight. You had to get a good start, but you also had to be careful during the race, manage your tires, and then have some tires for the end. And that's what I did. I took what I could. And that's how it works sometimes. You can't always win all of them, but if I would have sent it for first, me and Levy could have wrecked, and I love that kid. He did a great job, so I wasn't going to send it on him. But I had a great weekend, and I took what I could get out of the kart.
Awesome. Thank you, Dalton.
Thank you.
There you go from Dalton Haynes. Took what he could get there. Sometimes it's just not your day. It was the day, though, in phenomenal fashion for Aiden Levy as he gets a big-time win here in KA Stars. We go from him to some more. Let's send it back on down to Alex for the rest of the aftermath from that KA Stars main event.
Thanks, Anna. Here with Matthew Mockby. Matt, first time we've talked to you, I think maybe on the Cartridge live streams. You've taken a year off karting, came back, P5 finish for you. How do you feel about that?
I'm honestly so happy with it. I came into this weekend just looking to get a refresher, have fun. Like you said, I've been out of the car for a little over a year, only did one race last year. So my goal is just to get a little refresher, get comfortable again, and honestly just have overall fun this weekend. And I honestly am really happy with it.
Yeah, coming P5, you had to drive through the field to get there. Talk to me about your race.
So I started the pre-final in 18th and didn't have the best start. So my goal is just to get a couple people, move my way up slowly, and then in the final ended up starting 13th. Picked a couple people off one by one, and then honestly I just got kind of lucky with other people getting mixed up, took the opportunities that arose to me, and took advantage of them.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
There you go from Matthew Mockabee. Great to have him back in the paddock and racing with us here again for the KA Stars class. And like Alex mentioned, a long way forward for Matty Mockabee to get himself up into the top 5. But he walks away with a 5th place result. A very, very respectable finish in that one. Speaking of respectable results, how about this kid here? Brent Cruz last night over at Ace Speedway for the Cars Tour, late model stock division, up and down day, but he ends up with a top 5 there. He had the speed probably to contend for a race win, and he's got it here again tonight. That Hunt Brothers Pizza Racing Tony Kart with the Mega Power Engines power plant behind him. He showed up here this afternoon. Put on the new tires and warm up there, scuffed them in, had to start tail end of the field due to that in the pre-final. It's a level playing field for the main event. Everyone on sticker yellows, and he's got one more driver to get by if he wants a win. It's been the driver on top all weekend. How about the Brit Brandon Carr? What a 2023 season it's been so far for the Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart driver. Championship points leader in the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Nearly getting a big-time win already multiple times this year. He's still looking for that first major main event checkered flag of his senior career here in North America. Tonight could be the night. He rolls off from the pole there as they get set to bump off in those brand new OKN power plants. Not only would it be his first American senior win on the national stage, but it would also be the first driver in history in the Stars Championship Series to win an OKN Stars main event. There's more drivers looking to go for him. How about Alex Stanfield and that Team Felon GWR Gillard here this week? A lot of fan support, a big following for Alex Stanfield, and he is locked in right now as we can see straight through to the helmet from the outside of row number 2. Your top qualifier, we know the hot lap speed is there. Can he get it done under the lights? He's got one more driver to his inside, just blocked a little bit by view, and that's the number 33 OTK BJR MDR of Max Taylor. And what a performance this weekend it's been for Max. We talk about Brent lacking on seat time. Max Taylor, the same. It's time to fire off. Can we get them all going here this time? It looks good for the first couple. They'll slowly file their way on off the grid and onto the racetrack here for the OKN Stars. Looks like one driver, a little bit of a struggle to get off the grid. That looks to be Ryan Raffa potentially. No, that is going to be the 18 of Henry Wheeler. They've got to back him back up onto the grid as they refire the rest of the field behind him. And Henry Wheeler will try to get that kart underway. Of course, that jams up the rest of the field. So now they try to get back going, but the BJR MDR LN kart of Henry Wheeler set to start inside the top 10. He's slated to start, I believe, in 7th. So let's see if he can fire off attempt number 2. Big push. Is it enough? Not enough that time, and it's going to jam up Josh Holtz there at the back. So commotion here as it files out coming off the tram lines. And that'll give us a little time to try and get these guys underway. Brandon Carr, still your pole man over Brent Cruz. Alex Stanfield and Max Taylor, row 2. Aiden Fox, again, much to the likes of Justin White. His story this weekend has been pretty low-key. Just kind of in the picture, in the frame, at the edge of it all. We'll see if he can get there here by the end of the night. Even if those drivers get off the grid, though, the big disadvantage they'll be at here, Alex, is that they've got one less lap to potentially warm up those tires. With brand new sticker MGs, they've really got to kind of burn off that plastic outer coat, it feels like, that almost looking like a seal, and then they can start to get into the actual rubber part of the tire. So that extra lap around will let them warm the tires up. They're going to fire off one more time, and they've got them all. We've got the field now together here for OKN Stars at 17 deep.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, yeah, the good thing that the kart started, they get to actually make the main, but they lose a lap of tire warming, especially with it's cooled down a little bit. The track's gotten colder, right? The sun's not out, obviously, so just really, really difficult to get the tires warmed up here. You see a few drivers there who got their kart fired up late, swerving the go-kart immensely, just trying to get any heat in the tire for this first lap.
Yeah, let's see if it is any bit of a benefit there for them versus Henry Wheeler, but everyone's together. And ladies and gentlemen, this is history in the making. You are watching it right now. The first ever OKN Stars Championship Series main event. Only the 4th event ever in the United States with these engines. They've got over 35 horsepower and counting. They've got some of the best drivers we've seen. Brent Cruz, probably the darling of Trackhouse Motorplex, in the track's history. He started racing here in kid karts, showed up to one of the very first kart races to watch with him and his stepfather Matt, and from there the journey has been that for the history books and the record books. Multi-time world champion, and now as he lines them up, hoping Brandon Carr keeps it close. He's waiting on him to pick up the pace. Now they're all lined up. Here we go. Put the power down, boys and girls. We're racing to turn number 1. Great start for the inside lane. Taylor will get to second. Ryan Raffa trying to get to third. He'll slot to fourth as Cruz goes to third. Stanfield into fifth, and they're side by side behind him down the backstretch. Look at Brent Cruz. What a power run through 3. He'll go to the lead, 3 wide to the bottom side. And Brent Cruz leads the way out of turn number 4.
How on earth did Brent Cruz do that? He just found grip where nobody else did. Just kept it shallow in 3 and got the bite out of the corner from third to first down the back straight. What an incredible run for Brent Cruz in this opening lap.
Brandon Carr behind him there on that Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart trying to stay close. He's dominated all weekend. He's been the superstar of the week so far. He does not want to have all those heat wins, all those laps led, that pre-final win as well, all just to end up second fiddle to Brent Cruz, but that's where he's staring at right now. And a great recovery as well for Ryan Raffa through the carnage. He's up to third, the highest he's been all day in that Full Tilt Racing MDR BJR OTK. Alex Stanfield is fourth, Taylor is fifth, and Wes Duchak on the DR North America Modena has got himself into the top 6. He's had a week to forget thus far. Duchak now into the picture.
Yeah, Wes Duchak, what a run for him. Finally getting to see him up front there. I've talked to his dad multiple times this weekend. They've been throwing the kitchen sink at that go-kart just to get anything to work. Seems to be working so far, whatever they've done to this go-kart.
Yeah, it looks pretty good here for Duchak. I will say Brandon Carr is looking good as well. He's closing in on Brent Cruz. This will not be a runaway. Brandon Carr has arrived, half a car length back by turn number 1.
Yeah, Brandon Carr has arrived on the scene and quickly too. Brent Cruz, he was the quickest guy in the pre-final, but how much of that was the new tires? How much of that was with Brent Cruz knowing this racetrack? There goes Brandon Carr to the lead here in OKN.
Brandon Carr with a nice dive bomb in turn number 4. He retakes the top spot. Cruz second. Ryan Raffa still right there in third as they head to the infield hairpin. Does Cruz go back on him instantly? He does. Brent Cruz going to fight this one tooth and nail. Here comes Ryan Raffa to the outside. Carr wants it back in 9. He'll put the bumper to him as they go through the double right. Stanfield side by side with Raffa. Drives Raffa off the racetrack. Ryan Raffa sideways and through the dirt coming up the hill.
Oh, they're going rally car racing, exiting 9 and 10 there. Good save from Ryan Raffa, but Raffa goes from fighting for P2 down to P7 there. Not what he would have wanted. Aggressive driving here at OKN from Alex Stanfield.
Yeah, very aggressive from Alex Stanfield there, but nonetheless, it paid off for him as they go down to turn number 4. Alex Stanfield on the bumper now of Max Taylor, who was able to slip on the inside of both of them, and Brandon Carr goes back to work. All right, made one pass, Cruz answered instantly. We have not seen really any defending, any defensive driving where it may be a crossover move in the OKN class. That's the one unknown right now for all of these drivers so far here into this main event. So Carr, he left the door open in that infield hairpin. Cruz went right back by him. Does he try to block it off the next time he gets around him? Because I don't think it'll be an if, it will be a when. Brandon Carr that time by, fastest on the racetrack, a 1/10 of a second better than Brent Cruz.
Yeah, it's a good point you make there. I mean, we haven't seen any defensive driving all weekend long at OKN. Brandon Carr hasn't really needed to do so. But like you said, it's not really if, it's when, because Brandon Carr is there. Does Brent Cruz defend or does he not defend? It's not really the time you want to test it, but you might have to here in turn 8.
Into the infield once again, Brandon Carr. That gap opens back up to a couple car lengths. He said in his interview last night that he really hadn't run behind anybody, so he doesn't know what it's like where the drivers were complaining of that little bit of aero push through turn 3, that tricky part of trying to put the power down as well right behind a driver, similar to shifter. The power band is a smaller window than what many of them are used to. A little less oomph out of the corner, a lot of mid-range, and a low rev limiter to try and maintain longevity at 15,000 RPMs. That's 1,000 lower than the typical X30 in Rock GPs. That's also nothing in the 100cc KA classes that can rev all the way up to typically 17.5 at some of the tracks with tighter corners, like what we see on the temporary circuits at the Super Nationals. So it's different, it's new, everybody's been learning all weekend, and Brandon Carr learning a little bit right now of what it's like to run behind a driver in the wake of Brent Cruz. He's closed that gap back up to a car length away.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy that hasn't run in P2 much at all, or behind anybody, should I say, Brandon Carr's doing a pretty good job of staying in the tow here of Brent Cruz. He seems to be quicker at this stage in the race, knowing that the air wash is a thing. I'm surprised he's been able to stay that close to Brent Cruz so far. He's into turn 1.
Up the hill they go to turn number 3. Brent Cruz's lead still about 3 car lengths. He looks a little bit better coming out of turn number 9. Carr looks a little better from turn 4 on. So Brandon Carr, I think if he can get a good run in the infield, his best bet might be to get something done in that infield hairpin at turn number 8. Let's see how he goes through 6 this time. Still not close enough. He closed up a little bit, just lost some on the exit going into the hairpin, and now it stays again about a car length apiece over to turn 9. Right here is where it looks like Brent Cruz has a slight edge over the Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart drivers. He drops the left sides off into the runoff, gets a little bit extra width on the exit of the corner, and gets the launch he needs down the front straightaway. 2 car lengths apiece now at 9 minutes and 30 seconds plus 2 laps to go.
Yeah, like you said, what I've noticed with Brent Cruz, when he's been so strong all race long and all day long from the pre-final to the final, he's been able to carry that mid-range of the motor. He's been able to keep the RPMs up higher than most drivers, carry the roll speed, and get out of the corner better than most. But Brandon Carr exiting 4 there, close as he's been in the last few laps there, gets on the curbing a little bit in 6. Brent Cruz gets enough of a launch here to where it won't play too much of a factor into turn 8, but Brandon Carr is there.
Yeah, that one mistake Brandon Carr made there was part of it, but Brent Cruz did not get a good launch out of turn number 8. Carr might be close enough for a dive into turn 11. He's on the bumper, up the hill. He thought about it. Now he just needs a good exit onto the front straightaway. Here comes Brandon Carr. Half a car length back. It opens back up to a full car length by turn 1.
Yeah, Brandon Carr having to turn in a little bit earlier there for turn 1 just to stay out of that air wash. Again in 3, you see him turning just a little bit earlier. I don't think he's close enough to make a move in the 4. Let's see how good the toe is. Not enough right there. Brent Cruz going to hold on, but Brandon Carr is within striking distance now of Brent Cruz.
It's a will they, won't they battle now of 2 of the best we've seen here in the last 10 years in the sport of karting, really. These 2 have been racing against each other for a long time. Very similar career paths up the way. Carr now on the bumper. He's going to dive him into 9, and they bang tires. Brandon Carr to the lead. Cruz off to the wayside. Here comes Max Taylor. Here comes Alex Stanfield. Cruz back on the inside in 11, and it's a dogfight up front. Carr with the crossover. They bang tires again. Max Taylor up looking for second. They go wheel to wheel into 1. Side by side. Here comes Taylor. Cruz holds the lead.
How on earth has Brent Cruz held on to this lead? Unbelievable scenes here at OKN. History being made here. Brent Cruz white lining the race back here in 4. Max Taylor is going to go to the inside of Brandon Carr there in 4 and take P2. Carr to P3 and Stanfield to drop back in P4.
Brandon Carr able to hold off Alex Stanfield, but it's at the cost of second place. Now, Max Taylor joked with me but on the grid for that KA Stars main event. He said, I don't know if I'm going to last this full final in the OKN. I think Max Taylor's doing a phenomenal job if he's hanging on for dear life and in physical endurance, because he is wicked quick right now. Out of the last turn, he already closed the gap back to Brent a little bit this lap. Let's see what he can do, and can Brandon Carr reset as well? Cruz already gave it right back to him when Carr got aggressive, and these guys have traded quite a few blows already, and we're still with 7 minutes plus 2 laps remaining.
Yeah, Brent Cruz showing he is here to race. Brandon Carr started the action there 2 laps ago in turn 8. Brent Cruz sent the back on him in 11. And from there, now the racing has begun with 6 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Cruz has a bit of an advantage here, but here we go. Brandon Carr to P2. He makes the stick over Max Taylor. Here comes the RPM driver.
Brandon Carr with a nice pass in turn number 8. Max Taylor falling back to 3rd. For a moment, it looked like he might have been there. Ultimately, not enough speed. Alex Stanfield got really bogged down when he tried to send it around the outside in turn 4 to go from 4th up to 2nd or 3rd, and he's had to try and drive back forward. That time by, personal best for Ryan Raffa. He was one of the quickest. Remember Ryan Raffa, the guy that went four-wheeling it through the grass a few laps ago? Yeah, he's back in the top 5 and still running as they go through the bowl. So Ryan Raffa in that Full Tilt Racing MDR BJR OTK is not out of the fight either. But the Hunt Brothers Pizza Tony Kart of Brent Cruz is still showing the way. Brandon Carr is going to be driving like a madman right now to get back to him, because he knows that just as he's been aggressive with Brent, Brent's been aggressive back. The first time was controlled aggression. That time was dancing the limit, and we'll see this next time when they collide. What does it look like? Look at the hand signals on the line. The Ryan Perry Motorsport camp is fired up. They want their guy to get up there and get after it. Brent Cruz down the backstretch, 2 car lengths to lead.
Brandon Carr down the back straightaway. What a run. He's gotten to 4. Not going to peek a nose there, but Brandon Carr has closed that gap to nothing. It is about half a kart length entering the 5 and 6 complex. Cruz on the curb just a little bit there. Brandon Carr closes up through 7 here.
Here it comes into turn number 8. Carr's close enough. Cruz knows it. He goes to block. Carr with a crossover. Big run. Side by side, they make contact. Cruz into the grass. Brent Cruz damage to the left front tire as they collided, and Brandon Carr takes over the lead. He's got a nice healthy gap up to turn 11.
Brandon Carr sending a message. If you're going to be aggressive to me, I'm going to be aggressive back. Sends it into 8. Hit a little hip check on the exit there. Brandon Carr, your new leader. Now Brent Cruz has to hold defense on Max Taylor now.
Brent Cruz is one of those drivers that will throw everything, including his body, on the line to win a main event. He knows how bad he wants to win this one today. It's just another race on his career. It doesn't matter. Every time he puts a helmet on, he's ready to get after the checkered flag, just like the rest of them. Forget the Cars Tour last night. Brent Cruz is a go-kart driver trying to get after another go-kart main event win, and Brandon Carr now stands in the way, and we'll see if with roles reverse, can Brent Cruz hunt him back down. You can see that time by, Brent Cruz was emphatically motioning to Max Taylor, okay, push me, follow me, let's go back to him. Taylor followed. Cruz that time still lost a little bit as he lost momentum going wide in 11. We're going to find out right now if he has anything for Brandon Carr. What a main event this has been in OKN Stars. This has not disappointed, Alex.
Unbelievable scenes here as we get a shot there of Ryan Raffa. Ryan Raffa, the guy who was going supercross dirt biking on the exit of turn 9 there a few laps ago. He is within striking distance of this group if they start racing.
Yeah, Ryan Raffa that time by went purple. Fastest driver on the racetrack. Not first, not second, not third or fourth. It's the guy in 5th who had his 24th birthday yesterday. A happy belated birthday to Ryan Raffa. He's looking for a big birthday present today. At the top of your screen there on that full tilt racing machine. Change the fast lap honors. Brent Cruz is now the fastest driver on the racetrack. The Hunt Brothers Pizza Tony Kart just goes purple, a 10th better than Brandon Carr. This one is not over.
This is unbelievable scenes here. It is a mano-a-mano fight here between Brent Cruz and Brandon Carr. Who's quicker on the 1-lap pace here? Brent Cruz last time by was a little bit faster than Brandon Carr. We saw him hit the curb there in 4, though. It's going to halt Brent Cruz's progress a little bit this lap. Brandon Carr, this is where he's known to be all weekend long. Out front, he feels comfortable out there. Doesn't like to be P2 very much longer. He's extended his lead a little bit over Brent Cruz's lap.
The Mega Power Engines HBP Pizza Tony Kart is trying to close that margin up. Last time by about half a second. I think this time it might have evened back out again. Give the advantage back to Brandon Carr by 2/10 with a mistake from Cruz. So he gained 1, lost 2, needs to gain a lot more here. They're going to run out of laps soon enough. We're looking at about maybe a 20 to 22 lap main event here in this one. 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. And everything else in the top 5 is about stabilized. Cruz beyond him. You've got Max Taylor in the 3rd spot there on the Cosmic. Behind him is Alex Stanfield on the GWR Gillard. No major changes, just a couple of hundredths difference. Ryan Raffa is still one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack right now. He is closing the gap up to everybody in front of him. He has been phenomenal, to say the least. And to come back from going way wide off the circuit to be within 2 seconds of the lead is incredible. A very good run here in the works for Ryan Raffa. It's not done yet. That time by, give the advantage back to Brent Cruz. It's down now to 0.5 of a second once again.
Yeah, Brent Cruz goes purple that time by, but he went a little bit wide and 1 there. So the name of the game right now for Brent Cruz seems to be he goes purple, then makes a little bit of a mistake, then goes purple, a little bit of a mistake there. Let's see if Brent Cruz can clean it up here because he seems to be a little bit faster overall than Brandon Carr.
On the ragged edge is Brent Cruz as he charges towards Brandon Carr to turn number 8. How much he got left in it? You could see multiple times that inside rear tire for Brent Cruz is bouncing on the center off there, having a little bit of kind of an over rotation that ends up just turning into an understeer. Here's a great look in this final corner. Look how much lift. That time a little better, almost like a double hop instead of 4. Across the line though, Brandon Carr has picked up the pace. Max Taylor picked it up as well. All 3 at 46.7s apiece. Faster than they've ever run around this racetrack here in race conditions on a single speed machine. into turn 4. This time here, it looks like Cruz got a better run through 1 and 2. I don't know how much better he was through the bowl. We'll get a good look as they come into the infield, and that gap might come down a bit, but he's running out of time. Into turn 8 this time. Brandon Carr still leads, and Cruz hits the inside curb there in turn number 8. That'll cost him a little bit here, Alex.
Yeah, I know. Maybe shake my head a little bit there. Just a little bit too much curbing. Got the rear lift of the tire there. Rotated, I think, more than he would have liked it to. Again, you see it, Xander. The kart is hopping everywhere. He's got every bit of rotation out of that Hunt Brothers OTK go-kart. He is absolutely flying right now. About a tenth quicker than Brandon Carr last time by. Not going to be enough at that pace, though.
But now he is close enough to get the slipstream, to get the tow. Brent Cruz, a tenth better, like you said. That was good. 3 to go. 22 laps will be the total distance. How much do you have left in the tank? Brent Cruz also battle forming for 4th. Ryan Raffa is hunting down and has been hunting down Alex Stanfield. He's almost there. So while we've got our camera on the HBP Tony Kart Cruz, who is closing to 3 car lengths away from Brandon Carr, Ryan Raffa is closing in as well for 4th. Up the hill, this time by 2 to go. There's a look at the battle from Stanfield back to Raffa. Across the line, he'll have a shot at him. Cruz, that time, unbelievable. New record here, I believe, at least in this race, 46.593. But he lost time, big bobble through turn 1, a bobble in 3. That's not what he needed, a 46.5 for Brent Cruz.
Brent Cruz absolutely flying as Ryan Raffa gets around Alex Stanfield, the birthday boy, to P4. But Brent Cruz, I believe, got caught out a little bit by the aero wash there in turn 4. Like you said, ran a little bit wide, but he is absolutely flying here with 1.5 laps to go. It's close, Xander.
He's going to have one more shot at him, Alex. 2 car lengths back through turn 9. He needs to be unbelievably flawless on this final lap. Brent Cruz has nothing to lose. It is do or die. And on the final lap, a 2-horse race will stay a 2-horse race. It's a car length apart to turn number 1. Let's take him up the hill through 1 and 2. Brandon Carr a car length away. The field is tight at the front, and the stands are fully packed. You cannot find a place to watch on the fence line. Through turn 4, Cruz, not enough there, but he's better so far in the infield. He pops the curb in 5 and 6. Through the run, 2 car lengths away. Going to turn 8, Carr is still safe. Cruz sends it in deep, closes to a car length back. Is he going to have anything in the final corner? He is almost there, but a little bobble in 9. It will not be enough. Brandon Carr survives the onslaught, and Brandon Carr is the first OKN winner in Stars history.
Unbelievable stuff there. Brandon Carr breaks his ducky there a little bit. His first senior win on the national scene, and he does it in the OKN category.
Welcome to the United States Pro National Winner Circle, Brandon Carr. The Ryan Perry Motorsport driver reigns victorious in a heated battle between himself and Brent Cruz on the HBP Tony Kart. Max Taylor 3rd, Alex Stanfield 4th. Ryan Raffa loses that spot at the end. He falls back to 5th. Henry Wheeler 6th. Josh Hote 7th. Aiden Fox 8th. Julian DaCosta from the tail end of the field gets up to 9th ahead of Wes Duchak. 6 spots gained for the number 78 Cosmic. Again, what a run, what a battle, what a way to finish. A true night fight. That was a night fight indeed in OKN. Let's go down to another night fight winner. How about it for local boy done good? Talon Yockel defends the night fight title in Pro Stars, and he's standing by with Simon Sykes.
Thanks, Xander. Standing here with Talon Yockel, your Pro Stars night fight champion. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. 2 in a row. You know, last year I won, this year I won, but this year Kart was on rails. Gotta thank everyone under Magic Kart USA, SRP Engines, everyone under the tent, just phenomenal. I can't thank them enough. I gotta thank my dad too. He really worked hard this weekend, just putting stuff together and keeping it together. Kart just was amazing from start to finish. Real happy with it, and I'm just gonna ride on this wave until the next race.
Well, that was certainly a great race. Obviously, it was intense, it was hard fought, and it wasn't a flag-to-flag lead. Can you lead me through the opening laps and what it took to take it all the way to victory lane?
Opening lap, you know, I took it careful, unlike Heat 2 in the turn 4 side. I wouldn't walk up again. Then going into the double right, turn 9, Josh caught me by surprise going in front of me, but thankfully I had a decent exit and I was able to get him back down the straight into turn 1. Then from there, I just made sure that he didn't have any more moves, and I looked back and there was a gap. So I just kept on pushing, put my head down, and just went instinctive at that point.
Awesome, Talon. Congratulations and well done this weekend. Your Pro Stars champion, Talon Yockel. Back to you, Xander.
There you go. How about it for Talon Yockel from the Magic Kart USA squad? There is still a big crowd over by the scale area. There was a big cheer that erupted for Brandon Carr deep into the night for the Stars Championship Series night fight here at Trackhouse Motorplex. Alexander Searle, obviously, I know you are gassed from the racing we have seen here today. What a phenomenal finish here to the night fight. Closing thoughts, first of all, on that OKN main event that we just witnessed. That was everything. That was a bare-knuckle brawl, it felt like, under the lights.
I mean, I couldn't even catch my breath. My hands were on my head for about the entirety of that race. Brandon Carr, good to see him get his first senior win of the national circuit there. Happy for him. But Brent Cruz, I think if it wasn't for the mistakes that he made here and there, I think he was the quickest guy on the track there. Made it a really exciting dogfight for us, a mano-a-mano fight, 1v1 between those two guys, maybe one lap away from getting the win, but unbelievable stuff. Max Taylor, standout performance from the senior rookie there. Unbelievable scenes from him and KA Stars and OKN, a third place in both of those, so unbelievable stuff. Ryan Raffa went from being in the dirt on lap 3 to being almost on the podium, so great run for him in the Stanfield, rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, we just heard from Ryan Raffa's dad, Keith, who just came up here. He said, man, we finally get speed. We finally get the motor good, the chassis good, and we're off in the dirt, man. What's going on? But what a run for Ryan Raffa. Happy belated birthday to him, 24 years old yesterday, and he ends at least with a decent run. Maybe, depending how things fall, gets on the podium, but he crosses the line with a top 5 result in the first ever Stars Championship Series OKN fight. It's always so fun to me as well, for whatever reason at this racetrack here at Trackhouse Motorplex. The guy could be the fastest guy on the racetrack by 2/10. When he gets to the lead, the guy in second ends up going quicker, even if he's outside the draft, and he's just get that hunger, and he's able to watch the guy in front, go in deeper, and run him back down. I mean, Cruz looked the fastest at the end, but when he was out front, Brandon Carr was the fastest guy. And when both of them were out front battling, Max Taylor, Ryan Raffa, they were faster. Stanfield even looked good. All the guys in the top 5, a great show, one heck of a send-off, one heck of a real American live stream debut. Of course, the class debuted over on the West Coast at the Challenge of the Americas Winter Championship with about 8 to 9 drivers, a couple of top guys. We've doubled that grid here at 17 for this main event. Everybody was able to make it off the grid. Everybody was able to race in that one, and it put on some fantastic racing action. And, of course, they're all rolling through the scales now. We're grabbing a number of drivers to chat with, a lot to unpack from it. Moving over to Pro Stars, of course, Talon Yockel. No surprise there that he would be fast this weekend with how many laps he spends here, how often he trains. We had him on the podcast earlier this week. He talks about, again, it's not how many years you've been doing this sport, it's how many laps you got under your belt. So when him and his father Marty got into the sport at the for him closer to the age of 11, 12, and 13, they knew they had to start making up for lost time, and they went to the racetrack every weekend, multiple days a week, lapping over and over and over again. And then when they relocated here to North Carolina a few years ago, the same thing, learn this racetrack, get fast around here. So we expect him to be one of the guys, if not the guy, when the Pro Stars roll into town and he gets behind the wheel of a gearbox machine. But to put 4+ seconds on the field, especially for Vincenzo Saracena, the reigning champ that's improved his game last year, Josh Conker, who has stepped up his game, Colin Daly, who has been a perennial top 5 contender in pro shifter racing in the U.S. for nearly a decade. Super, super impressive for Talon Yockel to pull that one off.
Oh, no, 100%. Talon Yockel, I mean, I haven't seen – he's been so confident. I mean, last year, obviously got his night 5 victory, but coming off of Texas there last week at USPKS, even just with the top 5, he was so happy to be there, you know, with Kremers, Formal, AJ Myers, some of the best guys in the entire country in shifter class. To be top 5, he told me he's looking forward to this race, and to put 4 seconds on the field, I mean, it shows how confident he's been, how comfortable he feels in that go-kart.
And, of course, congratulations to Aiden Levy. Another night fight really coming down to a fight at the end of that KA Stars main event, winning out over the 60 total entry field. We spoke to him earlier. We, of course, heard from Talon Yockel there. After this commercial break, we're going to hear from our top finishers and the storylines from OKN Stars before we sign off for the evening. Don't go anywhere. Post-race interviews still to come next here from Trackhouse.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com. And one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Welcome back to Trackhouse Motorplex here at the Stars Championship Series night fight. Simon Sykes is caught up with the first of the drivers here in the aftermath of that OKN Stars main event. How about that battle? Brandon Carr victorious. He's standing by with Simon on pit lane.
Brandon, what a fantastic fight you and Brent Cruz had throughout the whole race. As a matter of fact, the entire top four, Alex Stanfield, Max Taylor included. But what did it for you? What allowed you to go ahead and take off from the field there and close it out for the victory?
Well, the car was just perfect, and I could just keep pushing and pushing. But when we got into the racing, I felt like it was hard, fair racing, and it was good. Like, Brent's a really good driver, and it was nice just to race against him. And, yeah, the car was fast, thanks to everyone at Ryan Perry Motorsport for that. And, yeah, it's been a good weekend. Just kept out front and just kept calm and kept going.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that victory. I want to hear your thoughts on this OKN package and how specifically it races. We saw a fantastic race develop throughout the entire stint there. What's it like from behind the wheel?
Yeah, it's a really good class, in my opinion, but I think it just needs a couple more people to come in, and I think it'll be really good. Like, I think it's better than X30. Like, I'm not sure how the racing is because we only got a couple of laps of it there, but I think it'll be good. I think we just need a couple more, like, top people from USPKS, Scusa, and I think it'll be one of the top championships, hopefully.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Congratulations on your victory. Your OKN champion here at Night Fight Stars Championship Series.
Thank you, Simon, there. Brandon Carr, obviously a big ambassador for it, and you can't blame him. First winner, he knows he's got a hot rod, and he'd love to have some more guys racing with him, and good to hear him in good spirits after the battle. Let's talk about a kid who has survived the Stars Championship Series night fight with a lot of on-track time. Max Taylor gets a podium here in that one. Simon?
Max, you're looking very racy, showing a lot of pace there in the midpoint of the race. How was it from your end?
Yeah, like Xander said, I kind of just survived the final there. I had a good front row seat with the battling happening. It was pretty entertaining. I think we had really good pace. The kart was really hooked up, and the engine was really great. The guys at BJR did an amazing job, and my mechanic, Chris Bogart, but we just came up a little bit short in the end. But yeah, I want to thank my parents as well, of course.
As fast as this OKN package is, how physical was it for you out there?
Yeah, it's pretty physical. My neck is pretty tired. I'm going to sleep well tonight and be very sore tomorrow, but it was good fun.
Well, congratulations on your podium finish. This is Max Taylor, your third-place finisher in OKN Stars.
There you go for Max Taylor here. Let's go from Max Taylor to one of his mentors of all time that has been a big part of his career. Ryan Raffa, of course, in the Full Tilt Racing BJR MDR camp, has helped coach get Max Taylor going in the sport, and now he got to race against him, and man, was he fast here tonight, Simon.
Ryan, talk me through your race.
I was going good. I got a good start. Got up into P3. I was just following Carr and Cruz. And I went into the double right-hander, and I didn't know Stanfield was there. I didn't see him, and clipped my right rear, got beside me, and then just drove me right off the track. So I fell back to like 7th. Had to get the dirt off my tires, and then chase him back down, and just disappointing. I needed like 5 more minutes, and I could have got the first.
Unfortunate contact, but what do you think of this OKN package and the Stars Championship Series running it? How was the racing from your eyes?
I actually think the racing was great. I struggled a little bit on power on Friday, so we got an engine from Ryan Perry this morning, and that thing was fast. And I love racing it. I think it's pure. It's a nice form of racing, direct drive. Can't just make bonehead moves. I think it's great.
Well, thanks for coming out, and nice job in the race, Ryan.
There you go, hearing it from Ryan Raffa. Happy belated birthday, 24 years old for the Full Tilt MDR BJR driver here this weekend. Gets a top 5 by the end of it all. And as we finally wrap up the last couple of post-race interviews in this one, Alexander Searle is caught up with Brent Cruz, the other half of that fantastic battle for the race win. Alex?
Thanks, Xander, here with Brent Cruz. Brent, I mean, you and Brandon Carr were going back and forth all race long there for the win. Kind of throwing haymakers back and forth that one lap. You got into it a little bit, Brandon. Talk about the incident there, and then your drive back through.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it battling, if I'm going to be honest with you. I felt like I raced him really clean. I drove him with respect the whole time, and we've always been cool. And I felt like he really raced me with no respect. Didn't leave me any room coming out of 8. Just drove right over me. Caused me to get a half bumper and a flat left front. And then continuously after that, he still ran me over in turn 9. So it's pretty tough, but definitely cool still coming out here and knowing I still have speed and being able to battle with these guys is is definitely a lot of fun. I just want to thank everybody. Greg Bell, for sure, for putting this kart together. Cody Johnson, who has been with me as one of my mechanics since I was as little as I can remember. And obviously my dad for everything he's done for me. I just want to say thank you to everybody at Stars and this racetrack for all they've done. I think this is a great series, and it's super cool to watch it improve.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
There you go from Brent Cruz there. That wraps up everything from the night fight. You can see us down underneath the tower. You can see everybody else starting to clear things out. It has been a phenomenal Stars Championship Series finale here at Trackhouse Motorplex. And do we have one more going? Oh, that's right. Here, look who's late. Look who's late to the party. Kayla, go ahead and switch it over. Listen to the crowd here. Alex Stanfield late, showed up, ran away. Let's bring him back here. Alex and Alex, final interview. My fault, boys.
Oh, no worries, Xander. I had to go running after him. I couldn't really find him. He's already undressed before when I found him. Alex, first of all, I got to ask you, talk to you about what happened there with you and Ryan.
Yeah, I was in the double right, and I was on the inside, and I guess we touched. And so, I don't know, he just went off the track, and that was that. And then I saw him at the end of the race, and I just let him by. So, yeah, that was that.
All right, I mean, other than that, talking about your race, you seem to have a lot of good pace there. You and Ryan got into it. You kind of got into it there in turn 4 with a couple of drivers. Other than that, though, the pace seemed good, right?
I could have been better, honestly. I didn't have the pace of the leaders, but, we just didn't find the setup in the night. I think we were faster in the daytime, but in the night we just weren't that fast. But I just want to give a big thanks to Gary Willis, GWR, and Christian Toro for the wrenches and everyone who supports me.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
There you go for Chuck. Alex Stanfield doing a row of cheers there after that one. A top 5 result for Alex Stanfield in this one, along with the rest of our drivers. Now it's officially time to send you off into the night. For everyone that's watched here all weekend long, for those of you in the paddock, for all those on the Trackhouse Motorplex staff, everyone at the Stars Championship Series, and for all of you watching along here from us at Kart Chaser, my name's Xander Clements. Thanks for watching, and good night.